Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see in the picture today, we will start the story of what if Issei was betrayed and left. Issei the Lord of the Yokai Part 1. Issei Hayato lounged on the sleek and stylish couch in the Occult Research Club room, also known as the Orc. The other club members were occupied with their own things, whether it was doing homework, reading a book, eating, or watching videos, playing video games, or just talking with one another. But despite the calm atmosphere, a sense of unease permeated the air. Ria's Cremerie, Issei's master and the president of the Orc, was engrossed in paperwork she had received from the underworld. A strained atmosphere had developed between the Cremerie princess and her pawn, Issei Hayato. Issei still struggled to see Rias as an equal, choosing to address her as president rather than acknowledging the deeper connection they shared. Unintentionally, this created a gap between them, causing Ria's immense heartache. Their emotional bond had intensified during a vulnerable moment in the sauna, where Rias had almost confessed her feelings and offered herself to Issei. But his choice of words, referring to her as president, left her yearning for affection and longing to hear him declare his love or even address her by her name. Issei sighed, feeling totally confused and regretting everything that had happened. He just wanted things to go back to the way they were before, and hoped Rias would eventually calm down. He wanted to talk things through and fix the growing gap between them. The whole situation was weighing on him, and he couldn't stop thinking about where he went wrong. Looking for answers, he silently pondered the whole mess, desperately trying to figure out what went wrong. Suddenly, a magical circle materialized before Issei on the coffee table. Startled, he was about to speak when Kaneko, one of his fellow club members, recognized the origins of the magical portal. Kaneko Phoenix. A woman resembling Ravel emerged from the magical circle. Bearing a striking resemblance to Ravel, the woman exuded elegance and sophistication, with her expertly styled blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. Ravel's surprise was palpable. She had not expected her mother to reach out to them. Issei, so this is Ravel's mother, she's truly beautiful. I can see where Ravel gets her looks from. Lady Phoenix, hello Ravel. Please forgive the sudden intrusion. I couldn't find a more suitable time, so I decided to reach out now. If I'm not mistaken, it's still school hours in Japan, correct? Ravel eyes, it is, but may I ask why you're contacting us so abruptly? Rias approached the hologram, extending a courteous greeting. Rias, greetings, Lady Phoenix. It has been quite some time. May I inquire about the reason behind your call? Lady Phoenix, indeed. First and foremost, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Layla Phoenix, the current matriarch of the esteemed Phoenix family. If it's not too much trouble, I would like to speak with the Red Dragon Emperor, Issei Hayato. Is he present? Issei, with a respectful tone, he responded, yes, Lady Phoenix, I am here. How may I assist you? Lady Phoenix, hello, Issei Hayato, the Red Dragon Emperor. I must apologize for reaching out to you in such a manner, but it seems necessary at this time. Issei, no need to apologize, it's nice to meet you. Lady Phoenix, thank you. I felt it was important to properly introduce myself. Normally, I would visit Rias, who takes care of the Hayato residence and the academy where my daughter, Ravel, will be staying. However, circumstances prevent me from doing so. Rias, that's understandable, Lady Phoenix. I know you're quite busy. Lady Phoenix, thank you for understanding. Rias, now, Issei Hayato, I have a favor to ask of you. I would greatly appreciate it if you could look after and protect Ravel while she is at the school. Issei, of course, I'll make sure she's safe. Lady Phoenix, thank you, Issei Hayato. Additionally, Ravel was previously in Riser's peerage, but since the trade, she is now a free bishop. I heard you aspire to become a high-class devil. If Ravel wishes, she could join your peerage in the future. So, please take care of her. Issei, I promise to protect Ravel with everything I have. You can trust me. Lady Phoenix, thank you, Issei Hayato. I have faith in you. And who knows, perhaps Ravel will. Ravel interrupted, clearly embarrassed. Lady Phoenix, oh, my apologies, dear. I can't help but tease you. Issei, please take good care of Ravel. She deserves the best. Issei, I won't let you down. Ravel will be safe with me. I promise. Rias observed the interaction between Issei and Lady Phoenix. Her emotions were a mixture of sadness and slight anger. It was not clear why she felt this way, as she kept her thoughts to herself. But it had to do with what Lady Phoenix was implying about Issei and Ravel. Thank you, Issei, Lady Phoenix said, before turning her attention to Rias. You take care, Rias. Of course, Lady Phoenix, Rias replied, the magic circle fading away. Suddenly, she made the decision to leave, catching Issei and the other club members by surprise. Issei, are you going somewhere, President? Rias looked at him sadly, and Issei became alarmed. He wasn't sure why she seemed upset. Issei, is something wrong, President? Ria's Issei, I need to know, would you protect me? Issei, of course I would even give my life for you, President. Riaz, and what about Asia? Issei, yes, I would protect her too. Riaz and Akeno. Issei, definitely. I would never let anything happen to her either. But why are you asking? Is there something I should know about? Ria sighed. Akeno, Asia, and the rest of the orc understood what Riaz was trying to convey. She had a pained expression on her face as she asked her final question. Riaz, Issei, what am I to you? Issei, Riaz, just tell me honestly. Issei, you're the president. Before Issei could finish his sentence, Riaz cut him off. Riaz, you're such and dot, can't you see beyond that? Can't you understand my feelings? Just leave, please. I can't deal with you right now, sob. Issei, if you'd let me finish, Riaz, I could explain everything and clear up the misunderstanding. Akeno, Issei, stop. Your words will only hurt her more. It's so obvious that you don't get how she feels. Issei, but if you just listen. Kaneko, shut it, perv, just go away. 4. Crack. Issei, hey, could you please give me a chance to explain myself? I don't know how I've messed up, or why Riaz and all of you seem to be mad at me. If you tell me what I did wrong, I will do whatever it takes to make it right. Zenobia, oh great, what do you have to say now? You always seem to cause pain to Riaz without even realizing it. It's frustrating to watch. And how do you intend to fix something when you don't even know what you did wrong? I know I can be dense sometimes, and I can be an idiot at times, but you truly show me how stupid you can be and oblivious to how others feel. Crack, crack. Irina, Issei, I don't understand how you could be so cold-hearted towards Riaz. What happened to you? Crack, crack, crack. Issei, even you. Irina, please. I just need a moment to explain myself, so just let me speak. Irina, upon hearing how Issei said her name in such a sad and hurt tone, she started to think that this wasn't the right thing to do and doubted her actions. Regret slowly seeped into her, but before she could think about it anymore, she heard Kiba speak up, drawing her attention back to the current situation. Kiba, no, Kaneko is right. Your words have hurt Riaz deeply, and anything you say right now will just make it worse. It's probably best if you leave. Crack, 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 crack. Asia, I agree with everyone here. It's clear that you being around will only cause more pain for Riaz. Maybe it's best if you give her some space. And at the same time, why don't you try to think about why she's upset with you, along with why we're all upset with you. Maybe then you can figure out a way to make things right for all of us. But until then, I believe you need to leave, Issei. It's best for everyone right now. 1. Crack, 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 crack. Issei, with tears streaming down his face, at the words that were coming from those he thought cared about him. He then decides to ask Gasper if he's the bad guy in the situation. Issei, Gasper, what do you think? Am I the bad guy here? Do you think I should leave too? Gasper, yeah, I think so. Issei, you hurt Riaz, and only a bad guy would hurt Riaz, who has shown everybody here love and care, and treated us like family. So yeah, I do think you're the bad guy for not understanding Riaz's feelings. Issei, and I think it would be better if you go. 1. Crack, 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 crack. Ravel got closer to Issei only for her eyes to go wide as she saw him crying, causing her to be even more concerned for him, and the way the other girls are treating him right now. Ravel, Issei, you're crying. Issei, I get it, Ravel, you want me to leave too. Sniff. Issei tried to hold back his tears, but it seemed like no one actually cared enough to understand his feelings. They didn't even let him explain or finish what he wanted to say. Instead, they just kept berating him. It hurt him even more that the people he thought cared about him didn't seem to care. He was starting to break down. Eventually, he couldn't hold back his tears any longer. Ravel, seeing him breaking down and crying, immediately embraces Issei tightly, giving him some sort of reassurance that she's here for him before she speaks. Ravel, no, Issei, I don't want you to leave. I don't fully understand what's going on, but I know this isn't fair or right for them to do this to you. I can see that much by the way you're crying. And no, I'm here for you, Issei. Akeno, Ravel, don't bother pitying him. He's just too clueless to realize what he's done wrong, and why Riaz is so angry. We're all upset with him too, and Issei doesn't even grasp why we're mad. He's just so oblivious, it's draining. If he's going to start crying like a child and having a breakdown because of it, he'll never truly understand Riaz's feelings, not to mention our own feelings. That includes you too, so don't try to comfort him. Right now, he needs to hear the truth and understand why we're all so mad and disappointed with him for not understanding our feelings. So why should we understand or care how he's feeling, right? 2. Crack, 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 crack. Ravel, hearing that, was enraged and just bewildered at everyone's lack of empathy towards the person in the group who's not only done so much, but he's always gone out of his way for everybody. She spoke in an angered and disappointed tone. Ravel, you're all wrong. You're being too cruel to Issei, who's suffering right now. If you can't see the pain and betrayal in his face and tears, it's not his fault for not understanding you, it's your fault for not understanding him. You can't bash a man who's done so much good for all of you, and make him cry without giving him a chance to speak. I'm talking about you, Riaz. You didn't even let him finish speaking before you interrupted him, started berating him, and everyone else joined in as if he's committed a terrible crime. How can all of you be so heartless to someone who's done so much for you? I won't be a part of this. I won't support your cruel and heartless game. Irina, after hearing Ravel's words that snapped her out of her single-minded focus and her somewhat selfish mindset at that moment, she looked at her childhood friend, the man that she truly loves and cares for. She realized Ravel was absolutely right. It is cruel to do such a thing to somebody who has gone out of their way to help everyone, even risking their life at times. He only wanted to be able to help others and be genuinely loved by the people he thought cared about him. Her heart started to feel pain as she realized she had played a part in this, and she wanted to fix it quickly. She felt regret and doubt in her actions and words, realizing the magnitude of her actions. She didn't want to be the reason that brought her childhood friend, the man she loves, to tears. But she wasn't thinking of his feelings. She knew she had to fix things before it was too late, or they got worse. She began having a bad feeling in her stomach, feeling like something horrible would happen, something that couldn't be undone once it did. Irina, I'm sore. Irina started to say something, but Riaz interrupted her in a fury. Riaz got really mad because Ravel defended him without thinking about how she felt. Riaz spoke angrily. Issei's heart swelled with gratitude as Ravel enveloped him in a tight, reassuring embrace. In that moment, he felt like someone finally understood the pain he had been enduring. Not only did she offer him solace, but she also stood up for him, adamant that he did not deserve this mistreatment. It was a glimmer of hope in a sea of darkness. Turning his gaze towards his childhood friend Irina, Issei noticed the remorse etched in her eyes. Ravel's words seemed to have struck a chord with her. Hoping that Irina realized what she did wrong. He was hoping they could fix their relationship, and this wouldn't hurt a possible future relationship with her. For a fleeting moment, Issei allowed himself to believe that things might not get worse, that they could actually improve. The anguish he discerned in Irina's eyes confirmed that she realized her actions were unjust and hurtful. It seemed she wanted to make amends, to rectify what she had done. However, before Irina could even utter a single word, the hope within Issei was mercilessly shattered. Riaz, who had been seething with anger, unleashed her fury, vehemently silencing Irina. Issei could feel something deep within him snap, unleashing a whirlwind of emotions. He knew that from this point forward, there would be no turning back. Riaz, I've heard enough, Ravel. You're completely wrong in defending him, and he needs to realize it. I'm sick and tired of this whole situation. I've put so much effort into showing him that I care, and that I want a deeper and more meaningful relationship, but it's all been a waste on him. I told him to leave, but he's still here, seeking pity from everyone, and he found it from you. I can't deal with this anymore, Issei. I truly mean what I'm about to say. I never want to see you again. And you know what, in that moment with the fallen angel, I wish I had never reincarnated you, but just let you die on that day by Rainer's hands. 2. Ravel and Irina, who were both about to speak up, felt a feeling of dread in the air. Both girls felt like something terrible was about to happen and that there was no going back because of what Riaz had said. Even worse, Irina's heart felt broken, while Ravel's heart felt pain, and they both felt like they could feel Issei's own heart shatter at that moment. Irina and Ravel had serious expressions on their faces, ready to rip into Riaz for what she said, and the people who joined in berating Issei were shocked by Riaz's words. They all felt a sense of dread, realizing that something bad was about to happen and that there was no way to undo Riaz's words. Riaz herself looked horrified and tried to take back what she said, but it was already too late. The expression on Issei's face made it clear that her words couldn't be taken back. Shatter. Issei's heart shatters into a million pieces in that moment. At the same time, Drake wakes up due to his partner's fluctuating emotions. Drake's thoughts: what happened? Why am I waking up only to feel my partner in so much pain and agony? What's going on? Issei hugs Ravel tightly, and he says, "Thank you for caring and standing by me." That statement confuses Ravel, but before she can even ask what he meant, he whispers something in her ear. Issei whispers in Ravel's ear, "I'm so sorry for this." Issei lets go of the embrace and pushes Ravel away. 3. Ravel was taken aback and confused by what Issei meant when he said sorry. She was even more surprised when he pushed her away. She didn't have time to ask him why he did that when he spoke up. Drake mentally, partner, what's going on? Issei sobbed, I can see that I'm not wanted anymore, and you've all made it clear that anything I say will only bring pain to all of you. So, I'll do as you wish. I'll leave, and you'll never have to worry about me again. I can't believe I let myself believe that anyone could care about a stupid worthless like me. I thought we were a family, I thought I actually meant something to you all, but apparently, I was very wrong. Sob. With those words, Issei summons his gauntlet and impales himself in the chest with it, grabbing the 8 pawn pieces. But before he can rip them out of his chest, he speaks to all of them one more time, with tears in his eyes while looking at everyone, and then he speaks up. Issei, I hope that me doing this makes you all happy because it seems like none of you really want me around anymore. After saying that, as he violently rips them out of his chest, splattering blood all over the room and dropping them onto the floor in front of him. Everyone watches in horror at Issei's drastic actions. Ravel. Issei, no, this isn't what anyone wanted. I didn't want this for you. I wanted to help you. Why did you choose to go down this path? Drake, partner, there had to be another way. We could have talked things through, found a solution together. Going to such extremes, it didn't have to end like this. Akeno. Issei, why did you do that? Irina. Ice, please no, please don't leave me like this. I never meant to hurt you. I'm so sorry. 5. Kib. Issei, you can't do this to yourself. You're so much stronger than this. Kaneko-senpai, we need you here with us. Don't you see how much you mean to us? Asia fainted upon seeing the gaping hole in Issei's chest. Zenobia caught her before she hit the floor, but Zenobia herself was in disbelief. She looked at Issei with wide eyes, unable to comprehend the gravity of his decision. Gasper, big brother, no, you can't leave us like this. We need you. I need your guidance and strength. Please, don't abandon us. Rias. Issei, what have you done? This isn't the way I wanted things to go. I never meant to push you to do this to yourself. 1. Issei. Rias, what I've done is give you exactly what you wanted. I will no longer pose any inconvenience to any of you. Rias, sorry you wasted your pawn pieces on me. But now you can get new members for your peerage that you actually want to have, and I'll make sure none of you will ever have to see me again. Ravel, I apologize for this, but thank you for being the only one here who actually cares for me. And Irina, if I die, I want you to know that I have always had feelings for you, and I've always loved you. I realized that when you moved away when we were children, those feelings have never left. I guess it doesn't really matter now, but with that said, goodbye to you all. Issei's words hung in the air, heavy with sorrow and regret. He stood there for a moment, realizing the weight of his decision. Without another word, he summoned his remaining strength, and with a flash of blinding light, he disappeared, leaving behind a stunned and tearful group of friends. Ravel collapsed to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Her heart was shattered by Issei's sudden actions. With her hands covering her face, she cried her eyes out, each tear hitting the floor where she knelt. Irina, tears streaming down her face, could only manage to whisper, Ice, you loved me. What have I done? Ice, please come back to me. I'm sorry. Her voice trembled with anguish and remorse as she grasped onto the hope that Issei would return to them. Unfortunately, her cries for him to return to her would go unanswered. 2. Kaneko, the most stoic and emotionless out of the group, realized what she did and immediately broke down. She started crying like a child, sitting on the couch with her knees up against her chest and head down on her knees. Loud cries came from her, sounding similar to a cat crying out for its master. Akeno stood in stunned silence, her eyes welling up with tears, unable to understand Issei's sudden actions. 1. Zenobia was silent, her eyes looking lifeless while she held the unconscious body of Asia. She had a dead look on her face, realizing the consequences of her actions towards someone she truly had feelings for. 1. Kibot, leaning against the wall, sank to the ground and stared at the spot where Issei had stood moments ago. It was now void of his presence, leaving only his pawn pieces behind. 1. Gasper retreated into his box, emitting a pitiful whimper, unable to process the loss of his friend and older brother figure. Riaz, the woman who loved Issei, was devastated. She broke down in tears, her gaze fixed on the place where Issei had vanished, now only seeing the pawn pieces scattered on the floor. At that moment, the governor of the fallen angels, Azazel, appeared through a teleportation circle, utterly shocked to find everyone in tears. He scanned the room, trying to understand the reason behind their despair. It wasn't until he followed their gaze and noticed the blood-covered pawn pieces that he realized the gravity of the situation. Without hesitation, he used a message spell to contact Surzix, informing him of what had happened and the urgency of finding Issei. Azazel Surziches, I need you in the orc room immediately. There are 8 pawn pieces covered in blood, and Issei is nowhere to be found. The others are devastated, and I am unable to get answers from any of them right now. Surziches, taken aback by the news, had a feeling of dread overcome him. Grafia, what's happened? Ajuka, who was in a meeting with Surzix, inquired with concern. Surzix, I'm not entirely sure, but I fear for Issei's life. We need to find him. Ajuka, would you come with me? Grafia's expression turned to alarm as she grasped the magnitude of the situation. Ajuka nodded solemnly. Let's go, Surzix. Time is of the essence. Scene change. Issei teleported himself to an unknown location in the middle of a forest clearing. Drake mentally, partner. Why did you do this? I was sleeping, and I woke up to what I can only describe as a horror scene. My best host, the only one who has treated me like an equal and actually talks to me, summons me and impales himself in the chest. What has happened to you? Better yet, what did the girls do to you to make you feel like this was the only option? Please talk to me, partner. I don't want to lose you. Issei D. Drake. Issei collapsed to the ground, losing consciousness. Drake, partner, wake up, don't die on me like this, partner, please stay with me, wake up. In the dense forest, Kunu, a young kitsune, leisurely strolled alongside her mother, Yasaka, the esteemed leader and queen of the Yokai faction. The tranquility of their outing was abruptly shattered when Yasaka detected a formidable presence, breaching the protective barrier shielding their forest and castle. Alarmed yet intrigued, she noticed the weak and diminishing life force of the intruder, compelling her to urgently alert her daughter of someone in need of assistance. With curiosity piqued, Kunu trailed after her mother, eager to uncover the unfolding drama. Before long, they arrived at the source of the diminishing life force, and upon locking eyes with the wounded man, Yasaka was utterly astonished. Without hesitation, as she approached the fallen man, she immediately recognized him as Issei Hayadu, the Red Dragon Emperor, the young man who had recently saved her and protected her daughter from the hero faction. Yasaka, oh dear, what has happened to you? Issei Hayadu, what brought you to this state? And how did you manage to get here, and even bypass my barrier protecting my castle? That's when Kunu caught up with her mother and asked her, Mother, did you find the person that was hurt? But before she could finish her statement, she froze up at that moment, with tears streaming down her face, realizing the man in front of her was the hero who protected her and saved her mother. Kunu, Oppai Dragon, what happened to you? Who did this to you? As Yasaka kneeled down near Issei, the boosted gear materialized on Issei's left hand, and Drake immediately began to speak. Drake, Lady Yasaka, I implore you to save my partner. Yasaka was taken aback, knowing how prideful dragons are, and that they would never willingly ask for help unless it was a dire situation. Yasaka, Drake, what happened to this boy? Drake, I don't know. I felt intense pain and sorrow from him. I woke up to him using the boosted gear to impale himself and remove his evil pieces, and then he teleported away. Somehow, we ended up here. I don't know much more than that. Shortly after, he lost consciousness. Kunu, mother, will Oppai Dragon be alright? Sniff. 1. Yasaka, looking at her daughter, seeing the immense sorrow, sadness, and fear in her eyes, and looking at the man who had saved both of them and is now lying bleeding and dying on the ground, it broke her heart. Let's find out what happened to bring him here and ensure he is stable. Drake, as the leader and queen of the Yokai, I vow to save your host. After all, he risked his life to protect my daughter and save me from the hero faction. But once we save him, I need answers, but we can worry about that later. 1. Drake, I understand. I am being blocked from his memories right now, so I need those answers as well. But thank you for saving my partner. After that, the boosted gear dematerialized. Yasaka, Kunu, I need you to go to the castle immediately. Get the guards and bring them here as quickly as possible. Kunu could only nod slightly, her eyes still fixed on the hero lying on the ground, possibly on the brink of death. Yasaka noticed her daughter's distress and spoke up to help, reassuring her with a sweet motherly tone. Yasaka, don't worry, he will be fine. I promise you, he will not die. I'll make sure we save him. Kunu, a weak smile appeared on her face, and she immediately ran back to the castle to fetch the guards. Yasaka, I don't know why you did this to yourself, but I will not let the hero my daughter admires perish in such a manner, nor will I let the man who fought hard to save me and reunite me with my daughter die like this. You may not be able to hear me right now, but mark my words, Issei Hayadu, I will not let you die. I will not let all that you have done for me, my faction along with my daughter, go in vain. I will save your life, and I will make sure the world keeps a beautiful and pure soul like yours in it, able to spread your light to others and help even more people in need. That, I promise, as a leader, a mother to a daughter you have helped, and even more than that, as a grateful woman that you saved when you had no reason to. Scene change back at the Orc. After Azazel reached out to Surzich's, it wasn't long before a Grimoire magic circle appeared in the corner of the room, and 3 individuals emerged from it. They were Surzich's, Ajuka, and Grafia. Surzich's Azazel, what happened to Issei? Azazel extended his hand toward Surzich's, revealing a bloodstained pawn. Surzich's, no, this can't be. Grafia, her usual cold and stoic expression shattered. She covered her mouth, tears streaming from her eyes. This can't be true. 1. Azazel, unfortunately, it appears to be so. However, I have been unable to uncover any information since my arrival. None of them are currently in a state to have a rational conversation about what transpired here. Surzich's, I see. I must agree. Ajuka, may I see Issei's pawn pieces? Azazel, of course. Azazel handed the 8 pawn pieces to Ajuka. Ajuka proceeded to analyze the pieces. Surzich's, we cannot leave them like this. We must bring them to the Grimoire estate until they are stable enough to tell us what exactly happened here, and what happened to Issei. Azazel, I agree. Ajuka, I will take the pawn pieces to my lab for further analysis, and inform you if I find anything. Surzich's, very well. Ajuka teleported away. Surzich's, Grafia, I understand your emotions, but we must remain composed until we discover what happened to Issei. Grafia, swiftly regaining her composure. Grafia, I understand. I will transport them all to the Grimoire estate. But where is Roswis? Azazel, she went back to Asgard to help Auden with something, but I'll inform her of the situation when we find out more. There's no need to worry her until we actually know exactly what happened. I do think she would care and she would feel horrible for what might have happened to Issei. I just don't think her connection with him is that deep yet. They haven't known each other for that long. But more importantly than that, if I tell her anything, she would tell Auden, so I don't want to tell her anything until I have a good idea of what happened, because then I have to inform Auden about the situation involving Issei, and I would rather know exactly what happened before I make that call to him. Surzich's, I see. You make a good point, Azazel. We should wait to inform her until we are able to discern what exactly happened. That way, when we tell her, we can also inform Auden of the situation. I would rather know exactly what happened before alerting the other leaders of the Alliance about the situation involving Issei. Azazel, I completely agree with you on this, Surzich's, but if that's the case, Grafia, can you take them to the Grimoire mansion now? Grafia nodded in agreement. She then gathered Rias in her peerage, as well as the Angel Arena, and teleported away, taking them to the underworld to stay at the Grimoire mansion for the time being. Azazel, what about Ravel? Surzich's, I will take Ravel back the Phoenix. But before Surzich's could finish speaking, Ravel interrupted him. Ravel, Sniff, I can tell you what happened to Issei. Sniff, however, you may not like what I have to say. Azazel and Surzich's, both of their eyes widening upon hearing, then asked her to please explain everything that happened from start to finish. After Ravel informed both Azazel and Surzich's about what had happened to Issei and how the girls had treated him, making him feel like he didn't have any other option but to forcibly remove his evil pieces by impaling himself in the chest, he dropped his evil pieces on the ground and teleported away to some unknown location. Upon hearing this, Azazel and Surzich's realized that their anger had transformed into an unyielding fury. Surzich's, unable to ignore his sister's actions, couldn't allow these transgressions to go unpunished. Before addressing this urgent matter, both Surzich's and Azazel unanimously agreed that it was crucial to inform the other leaders in the Alliance about Issei's sudden disappearance. With unwavering hope that they would find him and he would be safe, the search for Issei Hayadu, the renowned Red Dragon Emperor, was conducted for 2 grueling months. Unfortunately, despite the concerted efforts of everyone involved, Issei Hayadu has been declared dead. This devastating news has caused an overwhelming sense of sadness and grief to ripple through the hearts of all the leaders of the Alliance, underworld denizens, and even those in heaven, the Norse pantheon, and fallen angels who held deep affection, admiration, and respect for him. The absence of a clear explanation for Issei's demise or his sudden disappearance has led many to speculate and place blame on Rias, further compounding the sorrow. The impact of Issei's loss has also left other girls who loved him in a state of heartbreak. In light of these circumstances, Ravel has distanced herself from those associated with the events leading to this tragedy. She has made the decision to withdraw from Cow Academy and return to the Phoenix Mansion in the underworld. Similarly, Irina, consumed by regret and grief, has pledged to never fall in love again, knowing she lost the only man she could ever love. She has also severed her ties with the group, departing from Kuo Academy to focus solely on her duties as an angel in heaven. The repercussions of Issei's passing have had a profound impact on everyone, particularly Ria's in her peerage, Ravel, and Irina. The loss of their beloved hero has left an immense void and a sense of uncertainty for the future of the underworld's children, who had found solace and inspiration in Issei's steadfastness. Though the children cling to a glimmer of hope, believing their hero will return in their darkest hour, the harsh reality of his absence may eventually shatter their innocence and dim their optimistic dreams. Despite the anguish, some draw comfort from the resolute faith exhibited by the children, a tiny ray of hope that pierces through the gloom. They yearn for their savior to re-emerge to rescue them from despair. However, deep down, everyone else understands the painful truth: their radiant hero, once a beacon of light in their lives, is no longer among the living. Despite whispered desires for his miraculous return, the grimness of reality looms large. Issei is gone, and any notion of his resurrection remains a distant and unattainable fantasy. Kunu Dad. 3. Issei. Oh Kunu. She runs up to Issei, and he picks her up and hugs her. What's my little girl up to? Kunu. I'm good. Me and Mom just came back from the meeting. Issei. Oh, is that so? Yasaka. Yes dear, and we need to talk. Issei. Hey, Kunu, me and Mom need to discuss some things. Can you give us some time alone? Kunu. Oh, but Dad. Issei. No buts. Young lady, now go. Kunu. Alright. Yasaka. Emerging gracefully from behind Issei, she delicately wraps her arms around his neck while her 9 magnificent tails lovingly enfold his waist. My love, you have been truly magnificent to her, and she adores you with all her heart. So, when do you think we should tell her about our little secret? Issei turns towards his stunning mate, allowing his majestic fox ears and tails to be revealed, entwining some of his vibrant red tails securely with her shimmering golden ones. Soon, my love, I was contemplating informing her on our wedding day, which is just 2 weeks away. 1. Yasaka. Ah, my dearest, what a splendid idea. We can share the joyous news of her impending role as a big sister alongside our sacred vows. 1. Issei. Indeed, I am excited to tell her that she is going to be a big sister. However, I sense that there is more to our discussion than just this, judging by the seriousness of your tone. So tell me, my love, what is this really about? Realizing the depth of their conversation, both partners gingerly disengage from their embrace and settle down, side by side, ready to approach the matter at hand. Yasaka. Yes, my beloved, you are absolutely right. I believe the time has come for you to make your return, because you will have to do it eventually. Sooner or later, the truth shall surface, particularly once our union is solidified and you ascend as the Lord of the Yokai. Issei. I understand, but Yasaka. No more objections, my cherished little red fox. This is something you must undertake. Furthermore, I feel you have caused enough distress to those you hold dear, particularly that little phoenix girl. I understand your sentiments towards her, and I wholeheartedly accept it. I consent to you expanding your harem, but as the alpha, it is my responsibility to discern their worthiness to be a part of your affectionate entourage. I refuse to allow you to suffer in such a manner ever again, for it pains me to witness your anguish, and it breaks my heart to see our daughter witness her heroic father in such despair. A sharp pang of the past grips Yasaka, threatening to bring tears to her beautiful golden eyes, until a warm and tender embrace envelops her. Issei. I understand, my love. That will never happen again. I couldn't bear to have you or Kunu see me in such a horrible state ever again. I promise you, my love. 1. Yasaka melts into the loving embrace, finding solace in its warmth, and eventually, she musters the strength to continue speaking. Yasaka. If I, as your partner, endured such immense pain from witnessing you in that condition, can you fathom the anguish that little Phoenix experienced when she witnessed what you did to yourself in front of her eyes? Or how you expressed your feelings to that angel right before you disappeared in front of her eyes? From what you told me, it seems like she was trying to apologize, make amends, and that the little Phoenix girl was trying to support you and help you. Could you imagine how both of them feel after witnessing with their own eyes what you did to yourself and then just teleported away? What about those who genuinely care for you and were not involved in the incident? They are suffering immensely due to the aftermath. It is time for you, my beloved, to put an end to the selfishness and alleviate the torment of those who hold you dear. Issei's eyes widened as he began to understand the pain that everyone else had experienced, the same pain that Kunu and Yasaka were going through. It dawned on him that Ravel must be taking it the hardest, as she had witnessed him impaling his chest and removing his evil pieces before teleporting away. Yasaka noticed the realization on Issei's face and spoke up, addressing the situation. Judging by your expression, I can tell that you understand what I mean. Your dear Phoenix, Ravel, and that angel, Irina, is likely feeling the worst out of everyone. It's time for you to make things right, not to mention your feelings for that angel. You can't keep running from your emotions. You have told me how you feel about the other girls, but the one constant is her place in your heart has not changed, and you can't fight that anymore. You're just going to keep hurting yourself. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do, but I think you already know what should be done. Your heart has been telling you the right thing to do, letting you know it's not going to let that one person go. So stop torturing yourself. After all, you are the Red Dragon Emperor, my little red fox who is my mate, and the future lord of the Yokai. You are in no position to run in fear because you're afraid to confront your feelings, and you know I'm right. And after all, you've done so many incredible feats in the last few months, and you have faced so many daunting foes and challenges. It's hard to believe my fearless mate would be cowering in fear of his own emotions and not confronting them. That's not the man I have fallen in love with or who Kunu looks up to. Kunu looks up to a fearless and brave hero who backs down from nothing, regardless of the challenges or how daunting the task is. It's time to be that hero, not only for her, but for those that are suffering because they believe you are gone. It's time to face the things that you need to. It's time to step out of the shadows, my love, and bring yourself back into the light for all to see once again, because your soul is too bright to let it keep hiding like this. Issei nodded, acknowledging the truth in Yasaka's words. You're right. Alright, can you contact Seraphol for me? Let her know that you have some news about upcoming changes in the Yokai faction, and ask her to bring Ravel along, as these changes will involve a deal for Phoenix tiers, and Ravel's presence is requested for the discussion. 1. Yasaka agreed to help, her pride for mate's decision evident in her voice. Of course, my love. I'll inform Seraphol and make the necessary arrangements. Also, the Shinto faction, with whom we have close relationships, would like to meet you soon. We'll have to plan for that as well, my love. Issei sighed, sensing a headache coming on. Why do I feel like this will bring more chaos? But of course, the Shinto gods want to meet me now. It'll be quite a surprise for them to learn that your husband-mate is the Red Dragon Emperor. 1. Yasaka giggled playfully. Haha, don't worry, love, you'll be fine. You may surprise them, and they'll likely want to know how it all happened, and how you've transformed from a devil, but I have faith in you. Just be prepared once I contact Seraphol, she'll be here soon. 1. With that, Issei left the room to make preparations for the meeting, while Yasaka reached out to Seraphol. 1. Seraphol answered the call, curious as to why Yasaka was contacting her. Lady Yasaka, what is the reason for contacting me? 1. Yasaka took a moment to gather her thoughts before responding. I wanted to inform you that there will be changes in the Yokai faction soon. These changes will impact how relationships are handled. I thought it was important to inform you beforehand. Seraphol, is everything alright? 1. Yasaka, yes, everything is fine. However, I would prefer to have this conversation in person to address any potential issues that may arise from the changes. Would that be alright with you? Seraphol, of course, I understand. What would be a good time for me to come by and discuss the changes? 1. Yasaka, later this afternoon would be suitable. Additionally, I have a request. There is someone here who has personally requested to meet with a member of the Phoenix clan to discuss business related to Phoenix tiers. Specifically, they have asked for Ravel Phoenix to be part of the negotiations. Could you bring her along when you come for the meeting? Seraphol, this afternoon works well for me. I must admit, it is unusual for someone to specifically request the presence of the youngest and only daughter of the Phoenix clan. Is there a particular reason for this? Yasaka, according to the person, they are aware of Ravel's exceptional negotiation skills, and believe she is the best fit for this particular deal. Hence, the personal request. Seraphol, I see. I will make sure Ravel attends the meeting then. Yasaka, excellent. See you this afternoon. Seraphol, alright, I'll see you then. Ends call. Yasaka, I hope my little red fox is ready for this. Time skipped afternoon. Seraphol and Ravel are in a room, waiting for Yasaka. Ravel, Lady Seraphol, I still don't quite understand why they specifically recommended me to negotiate this deal with the Yokai. Usually, such matters are handled by my parents or Rueval. Seraphol, I understand your confusion. However, since they specifically requested you, let's see how things unfold. Ravel, I suppose you're right. Seraphil personally, I'm more curious about the changes happening within the Yokai faction. There have been rumors that Lady Yasaka might soon be married off to someone, but no one knows the details. Hearing that, Ravel feels a pain in her heart. It is evident on her face that she is reminded of the man she loves, a person with whom she was hoping to have a future with. Unfortunately, due to the actions of some girls, she knows she will never get the chance to be with him, or even see him again. Seraphil, feeling empathetic towards Ravel's sadness, was about to console her when Yasaka made her entrance into the meeting room, effectively interrupting the moment. "Yasaka, I apologize for making you wait." Seraphil, no worries, Yasaka. I understand that you are a busy woman. However, I am curious to know who specifically requested Ravel's presence here. It seems peculiar, as matters concerning the acquisition of Phoenix Tears are usually handled by Lady or Lord Phoenix, or even Ruvel Phoenix. Issei, it should be quite evident. I requested her presence. Both Seraphil and Ravel were taken aback by the familiar voice that filled the room. Slowly turning their heads towards the entrance, they couldn't believe their eyes. The person they thought they would never see again stood before them. Issei, hello, ladies. It has been a while, hasn't it? 5. Overwhelmed with emotions, Seraphil burst into tears and rushed towards Issei, jumping onto him and embracing him tightly. Seraphil, Issei-kun, is it truly you? Issei, yes Seraphil. It's me, Sarachin. Seraphil, Issei-kun, you're alive. I missed you so much. My heart was shattered when I heard what happened, but now, you're finally back. Feeling Seraphil's tears soaking his clothes, Issei returned the hug and reassured her that he was indeed back. Just then, Ravel caught their attention. Her hair covered her eyes as tears streamed down her face. Issei gently released Seraphil and approached Ravel. Issei, Ra. Slap. Before Issei could even utter her name, he felt an intense sting across his cheek. Recovering from the slap, he looked at Ravel in shock. She was in tears, on the verge of a breakdown. Without hesitation, she ran up to Issei, burying her face in his chest, sobbing uncontrollably like a child who had lost her favorite toy. 3. Ravel sobbed. Tell me, why did you leave me like that? Would you do it right in front of me? Sob. Why didn't you let me help you? Why? 1. Issei was speechless as he listened to Ravel's cries and whimpering. Seeing her in such despair, he couldn't help but feel immense guilt for the pain he had put her through. This woman, who had cared for him and tried to protect me in my darkest moments, was now broken in front of him. Ravel, I am truly sorry for causing you so much pain, Issei managed to say, his voice filled with remorse. But Ravel, through her tears, quickly snapped at him, her grief palpable in her words. Sob, you have no idea, Issei, I couldn't sleep for 3 agonizing months, haunted by the image of you impaling yourself and removing your own evil pieces, all while teleporting away from me. You didn't even give me a chance to help you. Do you realize how difficult it was for me, the woman who looks up to you, who loves you, to witness you being berated by those who should have loved you, but didn't care about your pain? I saw the pain in your eyes, Issei. It shattered my heart. All I wanted to do was incinerate those who caused you such suffering, but instead, I embraced you, only wanting to provide comfort. Issei hung his head, the weight of his selfishness sinking in. I understand now. I was selfish, blinded by my own pain, and I didn't consider how it would affect you, my Phoenix. Ravel's eyes widened and stared at him, searching for sincerity in his words. There was a moment of silence before she finally spoke, her voice trembling. Issei, I love you. Please, promise me you won't ever leave me like that again. I cannot endure that kind of agony once more. So promise me. Sob, promise me, Issei. With conviction, Issei looked into Ravel's tear-filled eyes and gently caressed her cheek. I promise, Ravel, I will never leave your side again. I love you. Ravel's grip tightened around him as relief washed over her. But then, a lingering pain remained, and she mustered the courage to voice her concerns. Issei, how do you intend to make this up to me? How will you atone for all those months of torment and suffering? Issei sighed deeply, his remorse evident in his eyes. Honestly, Ravel, I cannot fathom what could ever be sufficient to make it up to you. But perhaps you can help me decide. What would you need from me to begin rebuilding the trust I shattered? Ravel's tear-stained face lit up, and she held him even closer. Gathering her strength, she asked of him what she had longed for in her heart. Then, Issei, I want us to get married. Issei's heart swelled with a mix of emotions: relief, joy, nervousness, and a renewed sense of purpose. He could see the hope in Ravel's eyes, and without hesitation, he replied, Yes, Ravel, I want nothing more than to spend the rest of my life with you. Let's make it happen. In that tender moment, as they held each other tightly, they found solace in a renewed sense of love. The future, once clouded by pain and despair, now promised happiness, healing, and the unbreakable bond of matrimony. 1. Issei was struck speechless, his eyes widening in surprise at Ravel's request. He held her even tighter, as if to ensure that he was not dreaming. Better words were real. The weight of her pain and suffering that he had unknowingly caused weighed heavily on him, and he couldn't bear the thought of ever hurting her again. Issei, Ravel, you want us to get married. Ravel, yes, Issei. I want to make a lifelong commitment to you. I want to be there for you, support you, and love you unconditionally. I want us to face everything together as husband and wife. The emotions in Ravel's voice were evident, a mix of vulnerability and determination. Issei felt a surge of love and admiration for her strength and resilience. He cupped her face in his hands and looked into her eyes, sincerity evident in his gaze. Issei, Ravel, I will make it up to you. I will spend the rest of my life showing you how much I love and cherish you. Marrying you is the least I can do to express my commitment to you. I want to be the partner you deserve, to be there for you in every way. Your pain has opened my eyes to realize just how much you mean to me, and I vow to never take your love for granted. Ravel's tears gradually subsided, replaced now by tears of joy. She smiled, a mix of relief and happiness. They held each other tightly, the weight of their shared pain and their shared commitment mingling in the embrace. In that moment, they both knew that they were embarking on a new chapter of their lives, one filled with love, understanding, and unending support, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, side by side. 2. After both Serafal and Yasaka finished watching the emotional scene between Ravel and Issei, where they confessed their love for each other, the two were abruptly interrupted by Yasaka's words. Yasaka, oh, my love, it seems like you'll be getting ready for another wedding soon. Serafal, Ravel, what? Issei, I'll explain everything, but first, Serafal, I think you should contact Surziches, Ajuka, Michael, and Azazel, so we can explain the situation to them as well. Serafal, alright, I will contact them. But shouldn't I also reach out to Riaz and her peerage, along with Irina? Issei was about to object, but before he could, Yasaka spoke up. Yasaka, yes, it would be best for all of them to be present. Issei, but. Yasaka, no buts, my little red fox. It's time to face them. You can't continue hiding. Issei, you're right. Fine, tell them that you have found me. Serafal, alright, I'll contact them, but you should know that once I do, they'll be here immediately, she said with a mischievous smirk. Issei, I am aware of that. It's time they knew what happened to me. Serafal, very well, give me the contact details. Ravel, Issei, what did Yasaka mean by preparing for a second marriage? Issei felt a chill run down his spine, as he observed the sweet yet dangerous smile on Ravel's face. It was clear that she was expecting him to spill all the details, or else face the consequences. Yasaka, I believe we should wait until everyone is present before we explain. Don't you think so? Ravel was giving Issei a very serious and intimidating look before she spoke to Issei. Ravel, I want answers about what's going on. Issei. Issei, I understand and promise I'll tell you everything you want to know. Ravel, her intimidating glare that she was giving to Issei disappeared, and she had a more neutral expression. Fine, but I expect to hear the whole truth. Issei, do you understand me? 1. Issei nodded frantically, but appreciated that his new fiancée stopped giving him the intimidating glare. However, he heard his other mate, Yasaka, begin to speak, gaining his attention as he listened to her. Yasaka, let's go to the throne room. I'll inform the guards about the visitors. Issei, okay, I'll take Ravel to the throne room. Yasaka, my little red fox, make sure Ravel sits next to you in the throne room. She'll be like a sister to me now. Yasaka winks at Ravel. Ravel, what does she mean by sister? Issei nervously scratches his head. Issei, I'll explain everything when everyone else is here. Let's go to the throne room. Ravel, alright, as long as I get answers and you don't leave me again. Issei, I promise to explain and never leave you again, my phoenix. Ravel and Issei head to the throne room, while Serafal contacts the leaders to share the news. Scene change with Serafal contacting the other leaders of the alliance. Serafal, hey everyone, I've got some really interesting news that I think you all should know about. Sursix, oh, seriously, I'm all ears. What's up? Ajuka, wow, it must be important if you're reaching out to all the leaders. Michael, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. I'm dying to know what this is about. Azazel, come on, hurry up, I'm swamped with work here. Give it to me straight. Michael, brother, I know things haven't been easy for you lately, but there's no reason to be hostile towards us. Azazel, Michael, if I wanted your opinion, I would have asked. Also, why isn't Auden or Falbium in the call? Surzich's Falbium went to Asgard to help fortify their defense. We received information that the Cows Brigade is planning an attack on them. So after we told Auden, most likely he is too preoccupied making sure everything is ready, and he's not caught off guard. We sent Falbium and some of our forces to reinforce their defenses. Michael, I see. Ever since they learned of the boy's death, they have become emboldened and have been attacking us more frequently these last few months. It's becoming quite troublesome. Serziches agreed. That's when Serafal coughed, gathering their attention on her once again. Serafal cough, let's get back on topic and why I called all of you. Azazel spit it out already. Serafal, I don't have time for your childish games right now, and I really don't want to be in the call. If you guys are going to bring him up, you know how I feel about the situation, so unless this is very important I will leave. So what do you have to tell us that's so important, that you needed us to all be in this call? All those on the call could tell, though they didn't say his name. The mention of what happened by Michael touched a sore spot for Azazel. He always saw Issei as an adopted son, and after losing him, he was never the same. He just dug himself into his work and his sacred gear research. It also started to cause him to have an aggressive attitude towards those around him. Though no one could truly blame him, everyone's been dealing with the loss in their own way, and no one could criticize how he handles his grief. But that's when they were all brought out of their thoughts and wanted to hear what Serafal had to say. 1. Serafal, well, speaking of him, you should all know that Issei Hayadu is actually alive. Serziches Ajuka what? Azazel was speechless for a moment, but recomposed himself and spoke. Azazel, are you serious? Tell me everything you know. Michael, I'm honestly shocked. We spent months searching for him with no luck. How did you find out? Serafal, honestly, I just found out myself. Talk about a surprise. Serziches, wait a minute. Weren't you in Kyoto discussing those upcoming changes happening in the Yokai faction? Ajuka, and isn't Queen Yasaka getting married in 2 weeks? Is there a new Yokai lord on the horizon? Azazel, hold on a second. How did you manage to get information about Issei? When you're supposed to be in Kyoto, does that mean Yasaka kept this from us? Michael, that's a valid point. If Yasaka knew about Issei and chose not to inform the alliance, it raises questions about her loyalty. Serafal, let's not jump to conclusions just yet. I don't think we have the full story. Besides, I think Yasaka was asked by someone not to reveal Issei's whereabouts. Serziches, who the hell asked her to keep such important information a secret? He said angrily. Azazel, yeah, I wanna know too. Spill the beans. Serafal. Michael, I'm curious about her reasoning as well. Do enlighten us. Ajuka, don't leave us hanging. I'm dying to know who requested such confidentiality. Serafal, well, it turns out Issei himself asked Yasaka to keep quiet, and that's why I'm reaching out to all of you. He's ready to explain everything that happened to him. Oh, Serziches, he specifically wants you to bring your sister in her peerage. And Michael, he wants you to bring your ace arena. Yasaka has already granted you permission to enter her domain. If you want answers, I suggest you get here ASAP. Trust me, I don't have any more answers than you do. The only way to get the whole story is by asking Issei yourself. I'll be waiting here for your arrival. Serafal then ends the call, leaving the leaders in shock, but understand the only way they will get their answers is by going to Kyoto and talking to Issei himself. In no time, they have gathered the people they needed to head to Kyoto, which includes Ria's in her peerage, along with Michael's ace arena. They were all surprised after hearing the news of Issei still being alive, and wasted no time in heading to Kyoto alongside the leaders. After receiving the news of Issei's survival, the leaders of the 3 factions swiftly assembled their members and made their way to Kyoto. Currently, they are gathered in the throne room of Yasaka Castle. In the center of the room, Yasaka, the queen of the Yokai, sits next to her mate, Issei, the future lord of the Yokai. Beside Issei, his future second wife mate, Ravel, takes her place. Standing before them are the leaders, including Serziches, accompanied by Grafia, Ajuka, Serafal, Michael with his ace, Irina, Azazel, and Riaz with her peerage. A sense of shock fills the air as they look on in disbelief. Breaking the silence, Yasaka speaks. Yasaka, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am aware that many of you have numerous questions regarding the current situation, but I will allow my future husband to provide the necessary explanations. Everyone is shocked, but before anyone can say anything, the person they were gathered for speaks up. Issei, greetings, everyone. It has been a while, but allow me to properly reintroduce myself. My name is Issei Hayadu. I am Yasaka's maid and soon-to-be husband, as well as the future lord of the Yokai. Issei says with a smile, shocking everyone. Amaterasu, so this is where the missing Red Dragon Emperor has been hiding. I came here to check on you, Yasaka, because I sense strong demonic and angelic powers around you. To my surprise, not only do I find the leaders of the angels, devils, and fallen angels here, but I also learn that your future husband is the Red Dragon Emperor. Can you please explain this situation? Yasaka got off her throne and knelt in front of Amaterasu, one of the gods who is part of the Shinto Trinity. Issei also knelt before Amaterasu next to Yasaka. Meanwhile, everyone else was taken aback to see one of the gods from the reclusive Shinto pantheon present. Yasaka, my sincere apologies, Lady Amaterasu. My intention was to introduce Issei to you before the wedding and seek your blessing. Issei, Lady Amaterasu, I deeply apologize for any offense or inconvenience caused by the delay in our meeting. I offer my sincerest apologies for hiding here with Lady Yasaka without your permission. Upon hearing this, everyone was taken aback by the transformation in Issei. His manners and demeanor have greatly improved since they last encountered him. Gone is the lecherous gaze that used to accompany his admiration of beauty, replaced now by the self-control and utmost respect Issei was displaying in the presence of a goddess. Amaterasu, well, I must admit, this is not the Red Dragon Emperor I was expecting or have heard stories of. However, I cannot say that I am displeased with the evident changes. It is clear that Lady Yasaka has taught you proper etiquette and how to interact with those of higher standing. While I am not upset or angry about your presence here, Red Dragon Emperor, I am curious to know the reason behind it. I sense not the energy of a devil from you, but rather that of a kitsune. Lady Yasaka, did you have a hand in this transformation? Yasaka, yes, Lady Amaterasu. Issei, Lady Amaterasu, if I may speak. Amaterasu, you may speak, Red Dragon Emperor. Issei, thank you, Lady Amaterasu. Well, the reason why the leaders are gathered here is for me to provide an explanation. I will address my disappearance and the transformation from being a devil to becoming a kitsune. Furthermore, I would also like to inform you of some information I've gathered over the last few months about the status of the territory that Ria's Cremery corons alongside Sonacitri. The information I have to share with you is quite damning and something you should be aware of. Serziches feels a hint of unease regarding Lady Amaterasu's interest in the affairs of the Kuo territory. After discovering how selfish Ria's was when it came to prioritizing her own feelings over Issei's, he dreads knowing what kind of misdeeds she could have performed while coroning the town of Kao without his knowledge or even Sona's awareness. This makes the dread even worse for him, especially considering how Issei said he had gained information on how she was running the territory. It gives him a bad feeling that this meeting will cause a lot of problems that all lead back to his little sister, Ria's. But after Yasaka had requested some of her attendants to prepare a seat for Lady Amaterasu next to hers, when the seat was ready and everyone was seated, all those present were prepared to hear the explanation behind the disappearance of Issei Hayadu, the Red Dragon Emperor, and the reasons for his presence in Kyoto. Furthermore, the revelation that he is no longer a devil but a kitsune and his upcoming marriage to Lady Yasaka added to the intrigue. Issei, I understand that you all must have numerous questions. So, what would you like to know first? Serziches, what did Lady Amaterasu mean when she said that you are no longer a devil, and how did Lady Yasaka play a role in turning you into a kitsune? Ajuka, I am also keen to understand this, as you forcibly removed your pieces, which should have resulted in a slow and agonizing death, since they were intricately linked to your soul. Yasaka, allow me to provide an explanation for that. Yasaka then began to explain what happened 8 months ago, when Issei managed to make his way into her territory in that state, and how she saved his life. Flashback 8 months ago when Issei appeared within Yasaka's domain. After the guards arrived and assisted in bringing Issei's unconscious and severely wounded body to a room in the castle, Yasaka began employing sage arts in an attempt to heal his injuries. Yasaka, oh my, his wounds are incredibly severe, penetrating even to the depths of his soul. Red Dragon Emperor, what has befallen you to leave you in this state? Kunutiri, mother, will he be alright? Yasaka, my sweet daughter, I am uncertain. His wounds are so severe, even reaching his soul. I fear I cannot handle this alone. I must seek help if there is any chance of saving his life. Yasaka then calls for the guards to escort her daughter out of the room, shielding her from seeing Issei in such a state. She then activates a communication circle near her ear, and contacts someone who can provide assistance. After concluding the conversation, a portal materializes in the corner of the room, and a tall, voluptuous woman with cat ears and 2 black tails emerges from it. Kuroka Yasaka, you called for me. Kuroka was taken aback once she stepped out of her teleportation circle. She was surprised to see the Red Dragon Emperor in such a dire state. She could only ask a simple question to Yasaka, what the hell happened to him? Yasaka, I do not know. He appeared here in this condition, with no explanation. However, I summoned you to aid in his healing. Kuroka, why? Yasaka, he saved my life from the hero faction and protected my daughter. I am not so prideful as to allow the man who risked everything to save us from a meaningless death. He deserves better after all he has done for the Yokai faction. Kuroka, very well, I will assist you, but I expect something in return for my services. Yasaka agreed. We can discuss the details once we have saved him. Kuroka began utilizing sage arts to heal Issei. Oh my. His condition is critical. Even with my help, there is a chance he may not survive. Yasaka, his soul feels as if something has been. Yasaka, those girls, how could they treat him like that? Kuroka, and to think, my own sister played a part in this. I'm sorry, Lady Yasaka. Yasaka, it is not your fault, but our main focus right now should be on healing him and attempting to save his life. Kuroka, you're absolutely right. But the damage inflicted upon his soul is extensive. By forcefully removing the evil pieces, he has inadvertently torn his soul apart. Even I doubt our ability to repair something of this severity. Drake, I have a suggestion. Even if we manage to save him, he will become a regular human with significantly weakened life force. Furthermore, his body will no longer be capable of harnessing the power of the boosted gear. However, the real issue lies in his shredded soul, which now contains missing fragments. I propose that Lady Yasaka transfers some of her spiritual essence into my partner to help fill in the gaps within his soul. Meanwhile, the cat can skillfully employ sage arts to bond the new soul fragments with my partner. As this process unfolds, I will transform parts of his body into a dragon to offer assistance. Additionally, I will link our souls together to facilitate the overall procedure for you. Kuroka, that could potentially work, but Yasaka, if I follow your suggestion, he will become Drake. Yes, he will transform into a hybrid of a dragon and a kitsune. I understand that this will result in him becoming a dragon yokai hybrid. However, I am unwilling to lose a partner who has treated me not just as a weapon, unlike many of my previous hosts. He has always regarded me as more than just a tool, but as a brother. It is because of this bond that I am willing to merge our souls together, allowing him to become the last Red Dragon Emperor. Therefore, if he perishes, I will perish as well. Lady Yasaka and Kuroka, I implore you to save my partner. At that moment, Kunu rushes into the scene, having managed to evade the guards, and eavesdrop on the conversation between her mother Kuroka and the dragon. Kunu sobbing, please, mother, save him, don't let him die. He kept his promise to me when I asked him to save you. Please, mother, don't let the red dragon die, especially after everything he has done for us. She clung to her mother's yukata, looking up at her with pleading eyes. Kuroka remained silent, her face reflecting a profound sadness. Yasaka, upon witnessing her daughter's desperation and profound sorrow, responded with a gentle and affectionate smile, embracing her tightly. Yasaka, don't worry, my dear daughter. We will save him, I promise. But for now, I need you to go to your room, alright? Once we have completed our task, I will allow you to visit him. Speaking to herself, I must ensure that the guards keep a closer watch on Kunu. Kunu, alright. If you promise to save him, I will believe you. Mr. Dragon, please do everything in your power to assist Mother and the cat lady to save him. Kuroka had a visible twitch on her forehead in response to the cat lady comment. Drake, I promise, little one, I will do everything within my power to help. We will save him, and that is a dragon's promise. Kunu, thank you. She walks out of the room. Drake, so, are you both ready? Yasaka, yes, let's proceed. Are you prepared? Kuroka, yes, I have to rectify what my sister caused anyway. Drake, then let us begin. Once all three of them were in agreement to do whatever it took to save him, they commenced the process of repairing his soul. Drake successfully merged his own soul with Issei's, while Yasaka filled in the missing fragments of his soul with her essence. Kuroka utilized sage arts to ensure a proper and harmonious bonding of the restored soul. Upon completing this phase, they turned their attention to his physical body. Drake transformed all of his organs, including his heart and various body parts, into that of a dragon. Meanwhile, Yasaka ensured a smooth progression of the dragonification process. Kuroka dedicated her efforts to repairing Issei's physical body, including the hole in his chest. After hours of intensive work, Issei's condition finally stabilized, allowing a collective sigh of relief to escape from Yasaka, Kuroka, and Drake. He rested peacefully in his bed, oblivious to the efforts made to save him. Drake, thank you, Lady Yasaka and Kuroka. I cannot express my gratitude enough for saving his life. I will now monitor his condition within his soul. If any significant developments occur, I will inform you. If you require anything, simply call for me, and I will manifest with the boosted gear. With those words, Drake dematerialized the boosted gear and entered Issei's soul. becoming immersed in his inner realm. Yasaka, thank you Kuroka, without your assistance, I would not have been able to save him. Whatever you desire, as long as it is reasonable, I will grant it. Kuroka, thank you Lady Yasaka, however, I feel a sense of responsibility because my sister caused this problem in the first place. Yasaka, nonsense. Her actions were not your own, nor did you force her to do what she did. I insist that you allow me to reward you for your invaluable help. While your sister may have caused this situation, it was you who aided in fixing it. Kuroka, alright, fair enough. I will get back to you regarding that reward. But for now, I must return to my group before they come searching for me. Goodbye, until then. Yasaka, very well, the offer will always stand for you. Farewell, for now. Kuroka teleports back to her group, leaving Yasaka alone in the room with Issei, who remains unconscious. Yasaka, I will let him rest for now, as it is uncertain how long he will be unconscious. Furthermore, I must also rest, as I have expended a significant amount of energy in saving his life. Yasaka, I will inform Kunu tomorrow that he will be alright. It is late, and I do not wish to disturb her sleep. She proceeds to switch off the lights and gently closes the sliding door, leaving Issei to rest. After Yasaka's departure, a small fox sneaks into Issei's room and approaches the dragon. Kunu, hey Mr. Dragon, are you there? The boosted gear materializes on Issei's left arm. Drake, yes, I am here, child. Kunu, is he going to be okay? Drake, yes, thanks to the combined efforts of your mother, Kuroka, and myself, we were able to save his life. He will be just fine. Kunu, thank you very much for saving my hero. Drake, you're welcome. Now, I think it's time for you to go back to bed. Kunu, actually, do you think I could sleep next to him? I'm still worried about him. Drake, I have no problem with that. Watch over him and keep him safe, little one. I will be heading back now. Kunu gets into bed and cuddles up to Issei, wrapping her tails around him. Thank you, Mr. Dragon. Good night. Drake, good night, little one. The boosted gear dematerializes. The next morning, Yasaka went to check on Issei, but as she slid open the door, she was surprised to see Kunu cuddling with Issei. Yasaka smiled upon seeing her daughter cuddled up to Issei, with her tails wrapped protectively around him. Yasaka, oh, how adorable. I think I'll let her sleep a bit longer. Flashback ends. Yasaka finished explaining everything that happened. Amaterasu, how tragic. I heard what happened to Yasaka when the hero faction kidnapped her, and how you saved her and protected her daughter. But for all of that to happen to you, I'm sorry. I understand why you did what you did. Issei, I appreciate your concern, Lady Amaterasu, but neither Drake nor I have any regrets. Boosted gear materializes. Drake, I agree with Issei. Amaterasu, but you do realize now that your souls are linked. You are truly the last Red Dragon Emperor, and if he dies, you die. Drake, I completely understand. I have no regrets either. If he is to be my final host, I am willing to face whatever comes, whether it be life or death. He is not just a partner to me, but more like a brother. He has always treated me as an individual, seeking my input and opinion in various situations. He is the only host who truly communicates with me. I have no regrets, Goddess Amaterasu. Sursages, does that mean you're no longer a devil? Issei, no, I'm a Yokai dragon hybrid. 2. Issei then released his red fox ears and 9 red fox tails. Sursages, I see. Seraph, also, is that the reason Isakin's hair and eye color changed? Drake, that is because when our souls merge, some of our aspects merge together. So his hair color turned red like my scales, and his eyes turned a yellow-greenish color, a mixture of mine and Yasaka's eye colors. Michael, well, at least this explains why we couldn't determine if the boosted gear moved on to a new host, and why the sacred gear system was experiencing issues a few months ago. Azazel, indeed, it is highly likely that the system was attempting to recalibrate itself due to the absence of one of the long line of sacred gears. But now, if Issei dies, Drake dies. Michael, you're correct, brother. The sacred gear system no longer acknowledges the existence of the boosted gear. Graphia, but Issei, why didn't you return once you were healed? We understand that you were hurt by what Riaz and the girls did, but Issei, it's simple. I didn't want to go anywhere near the woman who allowed me to die. Sursages, what are you saying? Issei, let me ask you, Sursages. If a high-ranking devil were responsible for a territory, let's say Cow, wouldn't she be aware of the presence of fallen angels within her domain? Sursages. Issei, I'll take your silence as the answer. So, your sister knew about the fallen angels in her territory, who might potentially kill the sacred gear wielders if the fallen angels deemed them a threat. And yet, your sister did nothing about it. Riaz finally interrupted. Riaz, Issei, please stop. 4. Issei, be quiet now, Azazel. I assume you have informed the other factions about the activities of your fallen angels, particularly if they trespass into different territories inhabited by angels or devils. Azazel, yes, indeed. I have informed both Michael and the Maus about the actions of my fallen angel subordinates within their respective domains. Additionally, I have granted permission to eliminate any rogue groups of fallen angels who have been disregarding my orders. Issei Surziches, if someone in control of a territory was unaware of fallen angels disobeying their orders or going rogue, couldn't they simply contact one of the Maus? They could confirm if these fallen angels were on the list of rogues who have been disregarding their given orders. Surziches, yes, that would be the appropriate course of action. What are you implying, Issei? Issei, what I'm saying is that your dear sister deliberately chose to ignore the presence of fallen angels in her territory. She turned a blind eye to their actions, which included killing innocent humans who possessed sacred gears. Furthermore, she failed to inform her colliator, Sona, about this issue. Knowing Sona's diligent nature, she would have promptly verified if these fallen angels were rogues and authorized their elimination to prevent further harm to the innocent. However, instead of taking decisive action, your sister had her rook follow me and had her familiar provide me with a summoning paper. Surziches, Riaz, you didn't. All Riaz could do was weep. Suddenly, a powerful aura emanated from Lady Amaterasu. Amaterasu, Surziches, your sister has single-handedly violated the agreement we had when the Shinto Pantheon granted you control over the town of Ku within our territory. But what's even more alarming is that I have just discovered that innocent humans have been killed, and your sister allowed it to happen, all for the sake of acquiring a new piece for her peerage. Issei, Lady Amaterasu, there is more to this. Riaz, Issei, please, don't tell her. Amaterasu, silence, girl now. Red Dragon Emperor, tell me everything. Issei, when Kakabiel was discovered hiding in their territory with their group of rogue fallen angels and priests, they deliberately chose not to inform their brother, allowing their pride to cloud their judgment. They believed they could handle a Catriclus fallen angel on their own. It took one of their servants who had a better understanding of how serious the situation was to inform someone in the Maus about the ongoing attack from the Catriclus fallen angel, but it was done at the very last moment. If they had informed him earlier, he could have prepared the necessary forces to aid in stopping the fallen angel. To make matters worse, if we had failed in that critical moment and the fallen angels hadn't sent reinforcements in the form of the White Dragon Emperor, it could have sparked a war within the Shinto Pantheon's territory. I understand why the angels and fallen angels couldn't actively intervene in this battle, even if it involved one of their own. Since it took place in the Devil's territory, the presence of any high-ranking angel or fallen angel would have exacerbated the situation, possibly sparking war. That is why the angels sent in the exorcists for support, and the fallen angels dispatched the White Dragon Emperor. However, the devils from both the Citri and Gremory households were not sufficient to confront Kakabiel, the Catriclus fallen angel. Even with the presence of the Red Dragon Emperor, I was still new to being a devil at that time and lacked the balance breaker and proper training to face such formidable power. What should have occurred was for Riaz Gremory to inform her brother and subsequently notify the Shinto Pantheon about the situation. This would have allowed them to address the issue and prevent the outbreak of war. Handling the situation in this manner would have been the appropriate course of action. Riaz, sobbing, why are you doing this to me, Issei? 5. Amaterasu, that's enough, Surziches. It appears that your sister has deliberately violated the rules and agreements that were established for her and Sona to govern that territory within the Shinto domain. Furthermore, it seems she has been misusing her authority, considering your family's ownership of the Ku Academy. Surziches, I fully comprehend the gravity of this situation, Lady Amaterasu. I cannot condone the actions she has taken, and I do not expect any leniency towards her. Riaz, but, brother. Surziches, no, Riaz. I was already furious with how you treated Issei, prioritizing your own feelings above his, and causing this entire situation to unfold. Now that Issei has informed me and everyone else about the full extent of your incompetence and abuse of power, I will allow whatever consequences that come your way to unfold. You were well aware of the rules and expectations set by the Shinto Pantheon when they entrusted us with their territory. To discover that not only did you allow fallen angels to kill innocent humans, but you also used those fallen angels to recruit Issei into your peerage by letting them kill him, is utterly inexcusable. As the Mau, Surziches, Lucifer, I cannot overlook your actions. Riaz lowered her head in shame, realizing the gravity of her actions and the impending consequences that would not only affect her, but also the Gremory household and her brother. Amaterasu Sursages, it is not only her responsibility. Serafal and her sister are also accountable for their actions. I am hereby revoking both of your sisters' rights to govern the Shinto lands. Serafal was about to say something, but Issei interjected before she could. Issei kneeled in front of Lady Amaterasu and said, "Lady Amaterasu, please understand that I fully comprehend your anger towards Rias and Sursages. However, I implore you to consider that Serafal and her sister are not involved in this matter. I personally know Sona and can attest to her dedication and seriousness towards her responsibilities. The only reason certain actions took place was because Rias withheld vital information from Sona. Serafal is in a similar position, and despite occasional childish behavior, she is committed to her role and displays genuine love and care towards others. It would be unbearable for me to witness Serafal or Sona suffering consequences for the mistakes of others. I sincerely beg you, Lady Amaterasu, to consider this." Upon hearing Issei's defense for her and Sona, Serafal's heart began to race with gratitude and hope. Amaterasu responded, "Very well, if the Red Dragon Emperor is willing to vouch for you, Serafal, and your sister, then I will allow your sister to continue residing in the Shinto territory without any further issues. Serafal, you will also be permitted to freely enter and exit the Shinto territory as you please." Serafal expressed her gratitude to Lady Amaterasu and thanked Issei for standing up for her and her sister. Issei assured Lady Amaterasu that Serafal and her sister were not involved in the events and would not have supported them if they had been aware. Amaterasu then addressed Sursages and Rias Gremory, "Leave my presence immediately." "Sursages, may I ask one thing, Lady Amaterasu?" "Amaterasu, go ahead, Lucifer, ask your question while I still have the patience to put up with you in my sight." Sursages could feel the straight malice, hatred, and disdain coming from Lady Amaterasu with each word she spoke. He eventually gathered himself and asked what he needed from her. "Sursages, can my sister's peerage be allowed to continue residing in the city of Kao?" "Amaterasu, I will grant that request, but as for you and your sister, I want you out of Shinto territory immediately. I will convene a meeting with the other Shinto gods to address the transgressions committed by you and your sister. Until then, I am revoking your permission to be present in our lands. If I sense you or your sister within Shinto territory, it will be considered an act of war against the Shinto pantheon and the devils. Therefore, until we discuss the consequences and repercussions that will befall you and your sister, and how the devils will rectify this situation, I command you to leave." Sursages understood. With that, Sursages, accompanied by Graphia and Rias, teleported out of the meeting and back to the underworld. As is well, that just happened. "Amaterasu, Lady Yasaka, I must depart and inform the other Shinto gods about the information I have just learned. However, I expect you to bring your future husband to meet the other Shinto gods and receive their blessings for your marriage. Yasaka, I can assure you that we will soon visit the Shinto pantheon to seek the blessings of the gods for our union. Amaterasu, ensure that you do so. And as for you, Issei Hayadu, I eagerly anticipate our next meeting and further conversations. Issei, I am also excited to meet the other Shinto gods and to see you again in order to receive your blessings for my marriage to Lady Yasaka. Amaterasu, I too look forward and anticipate our meeting. However, for now, I must bid you all farewell." She then teleported back to the divine realm. Yasaka, Ara, how unexpected. This meeting has been quite exciting, but I'm sure you would like to continue with the main reason why we're all here. However, I think we should take a break and have some tea prepared to settle everyone's nerves. Issei continued massaging his temples as he tried to process the events that had just unfolded. He anticipated that more problems would be on the horizon, which only meant more headaches for him. Interrupting his thoughts, Ajuka approached him apologetically. "Ajuka, first and foremost, I would like to apologize for Rias Gremory's actions in the way she acquired you in her peerage." Serafal, joining Ajuka in solidarity, expressed her agreement. "Serafal, I agree with Ajuka. Ria's behavior was unbecoming of a high-class devil who had been given co-leadership of a town. Her abuse of power, incompetence, and failure to share vital information with her co-leader, my sister Sona, are undeniable. We can only request that you refrain from harboring resentment toward devils, even though it would be justifiable." Hesitant to accept Serafal's statement, Issei removed his hand from his face and raised an eyebrow before responding. "Issei, Serafal, that is a naive thing to say." Confused, Serafal asked for clarification. "Serafal, what do you mean?" To Issei's surprise, Yasaka chimed in, offering her input. Yasaka, it is evident that he does not hate devils, nor does he hold any animosity towards them. Issei's actions have already demonstrated his lack of hatred. In fact, he holds the utmost respect for you, Seraphol, and your sister. Issei nodded in agreement. Issei, she is right, Seraphol. I defended you and your sister when Amaterasu unfairly sought to punish you for Ria's actions. Seraphol, then why did you let Surziches get punished because of her actions? Seeking further clarification, Ajuka raised an eyebrow. Ajuka, I am also curious about that. Azazel, intrigued, added to Ajuka's statement. Azazel, I'm intrigued by that as well, kid. Michael, expressing his curiosity, also sought answers. Michael, indeed, what was the reasoning behind your decision, Issei? Issei sighed heavily before explaining his rationale. Issei, Surziches should have been more involved in monitoring his sister. Knowing her selfish and spoiled nature, and considering that this was her first time governing a territory, he should have anticipated the consequences. Those aspects of her personality led to my death at the hands of a fallen angel. Instead of giving me the opportunity to willingly join her peerage by revealing the supernatural world and seeking my consent, she selfishly allowed me to be killed on our first date, and then reincarnated me as her servant. She completely stripped away my free will by making me her servant in that manner. Understanding Issei's perspective, Azazel voiced his support. Azazel, so that's why you defended Seraphol and Sona. Issei, yes, Surziches and the Gremory family have undoubtedly spoiled Ria's, contributing to her entitled attitude and belief that she should get whatever she desires, without facing any consequences for her choices or actions. This was particularly evident during the incident when I was revealing the truth to everyone, especially Amaterasu, as Rias was aware of the wrong she had done and desperately tried to prevent me from exposing it. She knew the potential ramifications would be severe and far-reaching. Michael, so, to address this issue, you allowed Amaterasu to administer punishment to both Rias and Surziches, and I presume this also explains why you refrained from defending Surziches. Issei, precisely. Azazel, won't this decision cause problems? Yasaka, my discernment is that Lady Amaterasu's animosity and anger are directed primarily towards Surziches and Rias rather than the fallen angels or angels. Issei, with that said, I have a proposition for all of you leaders. But before we delve into that, there is someone I need to speak to, isn't there, Irina? Irina, who has been notably silent until now, raises her head to find Issei approaching her. Irina, yes, Issei, this is the first time she has seen him since their encounter in the Occult Research Club. She is overwhelmed by anxiety and guilt as he approaches her. Issei, I want to see your wings. Irina, but why, Issei? Issei, because I want to confirm something that has been on my mind. Michael, if he only requests a glimpse of your wings, Irina, there is no harm in showing him. Irina, very well, Lord Michael. Irina unveils her wings, leaving everyone astonished by what they witness. The feathers are predominantly gray, with a few black ones interspersed. Michael, Irina, how long have your wings appeared this way? Issei, allow me to answer that. They changed due to the guilt she feels over her actions towards me that day. Her deeds influenced my own, and this guilt has manifested in her wings. Isn't that right? Michael, is this true, Irina? Overwhelmed with emotion, Irina collapses to her knees, breaking down into tears. Irina sobbed, yes, Lord Michael. It is because of my actions that my childhood friend went through such pain. I didn't fully understand why he was afraid to confess his feelings because of the fallen angel that traumatized him, making him afraid to love again. If I had known, I would have been there to comfort him. But instead, I joined in berating him, causing him to leave us. I am a horrible friend, and I don't deserve to be an angel. 1. A heavy silence hangs in the air as the angel reveals her raw emotions. The members of the Orc, apart from Roswis, hang their heads in shame, knowing they played a part in his departure. Michael begins to move forward to comfort the sobbing angel, but Issei raises his hand, gesturing for him to let him handle the situation. Issei, Irina, he materializes his boosted gear, and Drake's voice echoes, calling out Ascalon. The atmosphere in the room thickens as everyone gazes at Issei, unsure of his intentions. Fear and concern mix in their eyes, unsure of how to react to what they are witnessing. However, Yasaka, maintaining her faith in Issei, holds a belief that he knows exactly what he is doing. With teary eyes, Irina looks up at Issei, a perplexed expression etched across her face, as she struggles to comprehend his actions. Issei, after dropping the sword before her, instructs her to stand up and pick it up. Confused, Irina whispers with a trembling voice, questioning Issei's reasoning behind this. Issei simply tells her to do it, his voice filled with an undertone of determination. Reluctantly, Irina rises to her feet and reaches for the sword. As soon as she grips it firmly, Issei takes hold of the blade, positioning it so that its tip is directly aimed at his own heart. In a spontaneous reaction, cries echo throughout the room, condemning Issei's reckless action, except for Yasaka, who maintains a calm demeanor. Her eyes are closed as she sips her tea. Ignoring the pleas from everyone, Issei yells for them to stay out of this. It is between him and Irina. Irina's tears uncontrollably stream down her cheeks as she asks him for an explanation. Why did he have her pick up the blade only for him to grab it and aim it directly at his heart? What is the reasoning behind this? She's confused, scared, and already so broken. This is the first time she has seen the man she loves since that day in the Orc, the same man that she thought she would never see again. The only man she could ever love and love no one else but him. The same one she helped break down and brought to tears and made him do something so horrible to himself, causing him to leave her. And now he tells her to pick up a sword and has it directly aimed at his heart while she is holding the blade at him. Truly, utterly shocked, confused, and saddened that he's even asking her to do this. Issei's hair obscures his eyes as he speaks, revealing a sense of deep pain within him. He explains that her words had pierced his heart on that fateful day in the Orc, causing him to feel broken. He admits to losing his feelings for Rias, Kaneko, Akeno, Zenobia, and Asia, but forgetting my feelings for you, Irina, had hurt me even more. The conflict that arose within you, I could see on that day when you realized, after what Ravel said, you began to immediately regret your actions and what you've done. I could see it in your eyes. It didn't make what you did any less painful or hurt me, but I felt like things could work out. But your words still hurt me more than anything I could have imagined. 1. Over the past few months, I discovered something. I had lost all feelings for the other girls, except for Irina. Faced with this realization, he mustered the courage to ask her a question that would leave her stunned. 1. With tears streaming down his face, Issei gazes at Irina into her red, puffy, and tear-soaked violet beautiful eyes, shocking her further with his vulnerability. In a trembling voice, she manages to ask him what he wants to say. Issei, with a smile on his face, opens up about his deepest emotions. He makes a heartfelt request to Irina, asking her to end his suffering by using Ascalon to strike his heart, wishing to be killed by her own hands. Issei explains that his feelings for Irina started when they were young, and grew stronger once she moved away. He admits that her absence had a significant impact on him, making him realize that he was genuinely in love with her. The pain caused by her actions was immense, but he found solace in seeing the remorse in her eyes, and her genuine desire to fix their relationship, albeit cut off by Rias. Issei reveals that he always cherished their relationship as children, but the realization of her absence deeply wounded him. All he ever wanted was to have her by his side, to be there for each other. Consequently, he implores Irina that if she truly desires to cause him more pain, he would prefer to die at the hands of the woman he loves, rather than live knowing they can never be together. The weight of Issei's words causes Irina to drop Ascalon, their significance sinking in. Realizing that Issei still loves her despite her hurtful actions, she can do nothing but embrace him in a loving hug as tears continue to flow. Through her sobs, Irina expresses regret, not comprehending the extent of Issei's anguish. She pleads with him not to make her commit such an act, not wanting to hurt him anymore. Issei, with closed eyes, assures her that he understands. The words Irina uttered had wounded him more than the light spears that Rainer used to kill him. Despite the pain inflicted, Issei confesses that he could never stop loving her. He forgives her, begging her not to hurt him like that again, for he cannot bear losing her. Moved by Issei's unwavering love, Irina clings onto him tightly, promising to stay by his side, her own emotions overflowing. Irina, I promise, from the bottom of my heart, that I will never intentionally do anything to hurt you again. I want nothing more than to stay by your side because I genuinely love you. Witnessing the pain you went through, seeing you harm yourself like that, was unbearable for me. Please, let me prove to you that I'll do everything in my power to make it up to you. You are my everything, and I can't imagine my life without you. As this emotionally charged moment unfolded, Michael found himself unable to hold back a smile. It warmed his heart to see Irina being forgiven, her unstinted feathers regaining their pristine whiteness. Azazel also had a smile on his face, glad to see that the person he considered a son was still his compassionate and caring self. Seraphol and Najuka shared in the joy, with Seraphol shedding a few tears. Ravel, while not fully approving of Irina's actions, recognized the undying love between Issei and her. As long as he was happy, that was all that mattered to her. Yasaka looked upon her mate, grateful that he was finally confronting his feelings for Irina, forgiving her, and confessing his love. Roswis nodded with a small smile, silently showing her approval of how things were turning out for Irina. However, she couldn't help but notice the downcast looks on Akeno, Kaneko, Zenobia, and Asia after hearing Issei's declaration that he no longer had feelings for them. In that moment, Yasaka rose from her seat and approached both Issei and Irina, enveloping them in a loving embrace that brought them comfort. She spoke with a mix of pride and joy in her voice. Yasaka, it brings me immense happiness to see my little red fox finally acknowledging his feelings for the woman he loves and offering his forgiveness. Would you not agree, Michael? Michael the First must admit, seeing Irina smile again and witness her being forgiven by the man she loves, does indeed bring a smile to my face. Yasaka, alright, my little red fox, let's not forget that we still have matters to discuss in this meeting. After taking a moment to collect themselves, Issei and Irina compassed themselves and prepared to continue with the meeting, focusing on Issei's proposal to the faction leaders. Their love had been tested, but now they were united once more, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Issei, sorry about that everyone, but continuing on with my proposition to the leaders, I would like to first re-strengthen my connections with the devils. Seraphol, how do you two intend to do that? Issei, the first thing that's going to happen is I have to go to Lord and Lady Phoenix, and let them know that I will be officially marrying their daughter, Ravel Phoenix. Then I would like to build a relationship with the Astaroth and Citri clans. Seraphol, wait, you want to build a relationship with the Citri clan, Issei? Ajuka, I'm also quite surprised you wish to build a relationship with the Astaroth clan, and that you intend to marry the youngest and only daughter of the Phoenix clan. Issei, I can see you're both surprised, but let me explain why. The first reason is I do not wish to have a relationship with the Gremories anymore, and I can also see that relationship deteriorating real quickly. Mainly because I intend to televise my return and explain why I left and how I was reincarnated, which will cause massive damage to the Gremories' reputation, due to what Rias did. That will also affect my relationship with Saraerg, unfortunately. Ajuka, I see. Well, honestly, after the whole Diodorus scandal happened, the Astaroth name has been slightly damaged. But working with the hero of the underworld would help boost the clan's reputation and fix the damage that was done by him. Seraphol, honestly, Issei, I have no issues with this, especially after you defended me and my sister from Lady Amaterasu. Also, I believe Sona would be more than happy to know that you want to build a relationship with the Citri clan. You could even help her by backing the creation of her raiding game school. Issei, that's exactly why I would like to help both of your clans, for the Astaroths, to fix the damage that Daidora caused by betraying the faction, build a stronger relationship with you, Ajuka Beelzebub, and with the Citri clan, I can help boost their reputation along with helping Sona achieve her dream of the raiding game school through the backing of the new Lord of the Yokai. I can transfer control over the Oppai Dragon and rebrand the show, with the help of Seraphol. Seraphol, I love this plan, Issei, I'm on board with this. Ajuka, I personally don't see any downsides with it, and I can imagine my family would agree with it, and I would like to be able to get to know you more, so this works out for me as well, if we can build a better relationship. I agree with this plan as well, Issei. Azazel, that's all good and fine, but what about the Phoenix clan? Seraphol, yeah, Issei, are you sure they will allow you to marry their daughter? Issei was about to speak, but Ravel cut him off. Ravel, my parents will have no objections to this arrangement. Ajuka, how can you be so sure? Ravel, because my father's original plan for me was to come and stay with the Red Dragon Emperor, to get closer to him and produce a child with him. This way, the Phoenix clan could have a powerful child with the abilities of both a dragon and a phoenix, and it would give the Phoenix clan the same prestige as the Beals or Gremories. However, that's not the reason I wanted to come here. I told my mother this, and she told me to forget what my father told me, and to explore my feelings for Issei. She encouraged me to fall in love with him not out of duty for the family, but because I truly love him. Seraphol, that was horrible of your father to use his only daughter like that. Issei, I agree, and I would be lying if I told you I'm not pissed off because of his intentions, but I'm also glad because the reason you truly came here was that you actually had feelings for me. But I'm letting you know right now your father will not be using any of our children for his own gain. That statement made Ravel blush heavily, and have an atomic blush on her face at the thought of having kids with Issei. Ravel, don't say things like that out loud, dummy. Blushing heavily and looking away. Issei, I love Ravel's pouting face, it's adorable, but at least I know that the Phoenixes will not object to the marriage of me and Ravel. Yasaka, well, that's all good for the devil's side, but what about the angels and fallen angels, my little red fox? Michael, I'm curious about how you intend to strengthen our relationship, though I have an idea of what you are about to ask. Issei has a smile on his face. I would like to marry your ace, Irina, my angel. Irina puts hands over her mouth and starts to tear up ice. Do you mean that? Issei, I wasn't kidding when I said I could never lose the feelings I had for you, and I forgive you. Irina runs up and kisses Issei. I love you, Ice. Michael, well, I see this as a great way for us to strengthen our bonds. Plus, who am I to deny the love of an angel, especially one that I can see truly loves you? Irina, thank you so much, Lord Michael. Issei, I would like her to move in here, along with Ravel. Michael, the first, have no problem with that if Lady Yasaka has no issue with it. Yasaka, I see no issue with having my mate's other lovers move in. After all, we will be sharing him, so at that point, we are practically sisters, making us family. Irina and Ravel are blushing heavily after hearing Yasaka say that. Michael, well, then I see no problem with it. I'll work on everything to get you transferred to a school in this area, and you can go back to heaven to get your things. Irina, yes, Lord Michael, thank you. Michael, think nothing of it. Irina. Azazel, well, kiddo, how do you intend to strengthen relationships with the fallen angels? Issei, easy. I intend to help you and the other leaders connect to different pantheons to increase the strength of the alliance, though I won't be able to be on the front lines anymore, because I'm going to be a faction leader, being the new lord of the Yokai, but having the Red Dragon Emperor as a faction leader along with a possible ace in the hole, for when we need to take out a big threat, should seem appealing enough for you, right, Azazel? Azazel, if you agree to going out and having a few drinks with me every now and then, and come over to play some video games once in a while, you have a deal, kiddo. Issei, I can agree to that. Azazel, then you've got a deal, kiddo. Seraphal, I never knew Isaac was so good at negotiating. Issei, I'm full of surprises. That's when Issei heard a voice that he really didn't want to hear. Asia, Issei, what about us? Issei, what about you? Asia, aren't you coming back to Cow with us? 3. Issei, are you kidding me? Were you not paying attention to what was said and what happened in this meeting, or was Roswas the only one in my former peerage paying attention? I'm getting married to Yasaka in 2 weeks, which will make me the new lord of the Yokai, and come with its own responsibilities. Akeno, I know, but don't you care about us anymore? Issei, not really. I'm pretty sure you heard what I said to Irina, and how I lost any and all affection towards you, Rias, Kaneko, Asia, and Zenobia. That includes seeing Kiba and Gaspar as brothers. Akeno, we apologize for everything that happened between us. Issei, we were all in the wrong, and we shouldn't have berated you like that. Issei, save it. Your apologies mean nothing to me, especially you, Akeno. It was you who said, and I quote, if he's going to start crying like a child and having a breakdown because of it, he'll never truly understand Ria's feelings, not to mention our own feelings. That includes you too, so don't try to comfort him. Right now, he needs to hear the truth and understand why we're all so mad and disappointed with him for not understanding our feelings. So why should we understand or care how he's feeling right now? After you said that, your apologies mean nothing to me, nor are the memories we made together personally. I regret having those memories, but I can't change that. But what I can do is change who I love, which is none of you anymore, and I will never love you guys again. Kaneko, but senpai. Issei, don't senpai me. Do you remember the last words you said to me? Because I do. You called me and told me I should leave. Zenobia, can you give us a second chance? Issei, just like you did for Irina. Issei, the difference is, she didn't berate me as badly as the rest of you did. Not to mention, when I looked into her eyes, I could see her regret, uncertainty, and realization during that situation. And before she was cut off by Riaz, she attempted to apologize. She had genuine remorse for what she did and regretted it. She was trying to say something to prevent what I did from happening, but she just wasn't fast enough. And I know her well enough to know that sometimes she can be easily pressured into doing things, so it wouldn't be hard for me to believe that all of you influenced her into berating me. But she realized immediately that she wasn't certain about doing this, and it quickly turned into her not wanting to do it anymore. Yes, she said some things that broke me on the inside, but at the end of the day, my feelings for her never faded. Unlike my feelings towards all of you. including you, Zenobia, considering you said. I know I can be dense sometimes, and I can be an idiot at times, but you truly show me how stupid you can be and oblivious to how others feel. So, to prove that I'm not stupid and not as oblivious as you presume, I'm not going to be the fool who gets back with the women who berated him to the point that he thought killing himself was the best option. They ignored my trauma for their own selfish needs, and I'm not oblivious enough to let myself willingly put that aside and just accept you with open arms. All of you had your own thoughts and individual decision-making, and you could have decided at some point in that conversation that this may not be the right thing to do, like what I saw with Irina. But instead, all I saw from the rest of you was contentment, resentment, and hatred when you said those things to me. So, no, I won't forgive you like I forgave her, so accept it for what it is. You ruined your chances, all of you. Asia, but Issei, you can't just throw us away like this, not after everything we've done together and been through. 3. Issei, none of you had any problem doing the same to me, telling me to leave, telling me it's always me. Especially you, Asia, the woman that I literally activated the Juggernaut drive for. Because I thought you were killed by Shalba Beelzebub. You still had no problem doing what you did to me, treating me like I was the worst thing on this earth, like I committed a crime. Yes, I'm going to throw you away just as easily as all of you were ready to do to me, all because you guys put your emotions and feelings above mine. I tell you the same thing I told Zenobia, you ruined your chance, and you're not getting a second one. Accept it. Irina listened to what Issei said, and it made her happy that he could still read her like that just by looking at her. However, it also made her sad to think of that day, when she thought she had lost him forever. Asia, so you truly don't love us anymore, Issei. Issei, no, except for Roswis, who was in Asgard at the time and had no idea what was going on or how you girls were berating me. Being the most sensible one in the group, she would have told you it was a bad idea, and she would have also stood by me and defended me. She would have made sure Irina wasn't influenced by the rest of you to join in berating me. Most importantly, if she were there, I would have had 3 people defending me instead of just one. Roswis, Irina, and Ravel would have made sure what happened in the orc room that day would never have happened, I'm certain. As for you, Asia, I always thought you would stand by me even though I knew you were a little too influenced by the other girls, especially Ria's. But I would have thought you would stand by me regardless, considering everything I have done for you. But I was wrong, just like I was wrong about all of you other girls. However, the silver lining for the 3 of you is that I could eventually start to have a friendship with you, Gasper, and Zenobia again, although we wouldn't be anything more than friends. Nothing more will come out of it besides that. As for everyone else who knew about Ria's plan to let me die, I will never forgive any of you. Because you took away my right to choose when you went along with her plan. Even if you didn't agree with it, you didn't try to stop it, like trying to contact her brother. You are all equally at fault. Now get out of my sight. After that, the rest of the peerage of Rias, except Roswis, teleport back to the Hayadu mansion with sad and defeated looks on their faces. Roswis, so Issei, what did you need to speak to me about? Issei, first I have to ask Ajuka something. Ajuka raises an eyebrow. What would that be, Issei? Issei, I would like to know if you could safely remove the evil piece from Roswis, or at least make her a free piece. Roswis, Issei, what are you talking about? Ajuka, well, after what you did, I have been looking into being able to remove evil pieces from reincarnated devils. Since I found out you removed yours by force, and now know the full story of how you were brought into the supernatural, I thought it would be a good idea to figure out a way to remove evil pieces, if the person was brought into the supernatural unwillingly, or in your case, being set up to die and then being reincarnated that way. Issei, really well, that makes me feel a little bit better knowing that situations like mine won't happen again. But are you able to do it now? Ajuka, unfortunately, I have not been able to completely perfect the process so that it doesn't cause damage to the soul. But given a little bit more time, I can remove her piece. But may I ask why you would like me to remove her piece? Issei, because I feel like Rias took advantage of Roswis and got her to join her peerage. 1. Ajuka, Roswis, is that true? Issei, Roswis, you don't owe Rias anything. Be honest with your feelings. Roswis, honestly, I do feel like she took advantage of me at a very vulnerable time, after I was abandoned by Auden. Ajuka, I see. Issei, I would be more than happy to let you live here, if you want to turn your piece into a free piece, until we can remove it. That way, you don't have to deal with Rias or the peerage. Also, The Gremory house is about to go into a shit show, and I don't believe you need to suffer through that. Issei Ajuka, can I ask you for a favor to turn her piece into a free piece, until we can permanently remove it? Ajuka, I will take you up on that favor later, but I was going to do it for you regardless just for what you've already gone through. And hearing that Roswis was taken advantage of in a time of weakness by Rias considering her track record, I cannot consider this an innocent act after what I've learned today. So Roswis, would you like to become a free piece until I can remove the evil piece from you without damaging your soul? You will be free from Rias, and I will personally make sure Serziches does not do anything to you in retaliation for this. I give you my word as the mighty Ajuka Beelzebub. Roswis, so, Issei, can I live here with you even after my pieces are removed? Issei with a soft and sweet smile, of course Ross. I love your company. Yasaka RR, oh husband, already adding a new mate to your harem. Roswis blushed at Yasaka's comment, surprised by the statement. That's when Issei spoke up to try and move the conversation along, and save Roswis from becoming even more embarrassed and flustered due to his mate's comments. Issei, it's your choice Rose, but I'll support whatever you decide to do. Roswis, alright, Ajuka, I agree to having you turn my pieces into free pieces. Ajuka then put his hand on Roswis's chest and removed her piece, transforming them into free pieces that floated back into her. Roswis, so I'm a free piece now. Ajuka, yes. Issei, thank you Ajuka. Ajuka, you're welcome. I'll keep in mind the favor you gave me, but I have to head back to my domain to inform my family of your offer. Seraphal, I will also be heading back. I have to set up the studio for when you make your announcement to the underworld, broadcasting your message and helping start the transfer of your assets and control of the show to Citri. Issei, alright? I expect to hear from you later, Ajuka and Seraphal, but until then, see you. Ajuka, I look forward to when we meet again. Issei teleports back to the underworld. Seraphal, bye-bye. Isaacin can't wait until we see each other again. She winks at him and blows him a kiss, then teleports back to the underworld as well. Michael the First should be heading back to heaven as well, to deliver the news that you are alive and well, and to inform them of our new relationship between the new Lord of the Yokai and the heavens. But until then, farewell. Issei teleports back to heaven. Azazel, yeah, I have to go too. If I'm gone for too long, Penemu will think I'm slacking off from my duties as governor, and give me a mouthful. But I'm happy to know you're alive, kiddo, and you're doing better. Hope to talk to you again, and I expect some drinks later on, too. Issei, name the time and place, and as long as you're paying, I'm willing to drink. Azazel, I got the first round on me then, but until then, kiddo, teleports back to Grigori. Issei falls back in his chair. Man, I'm exhausted from all that. Irina, darling, are you truly okay with me here? Issei, I meant what I said. I truly love you, my angel. I forgive you, so I suggest you forgive yourself. Irina, alright, my darling. Ravel, Issei, when are we going to go see my parents? Issei, well, I was going to see the Shinto gods, but I'm assuming Lady Amaterasu is currently informing them of what happened in our little meeting, so it might not be a good idea to see them right now. Yasaka, I will get a date set up for my love with the Shinto gods, so don't worry about that and go with Ravel to meet her parents in the underworld and announce your engagement and wedding date to the underworld. Issei, yeah, that's a good idea, but first come out, Kunu. Kunu, dad. Issei, hey, my little girl, said with a smile. Irina, Ravel, and Roswis are looking at this interaction between Issei and Kunu. They find it so cute and adorable, and they are blushing, seeing Issei's fatherly side. It's also triggering their maternal instincts, making them want to have their own kids with Issei. 1. Issei also, Rose, assuming there is a reason Auden wasn't able to attend this meeting, could you relay the information that was discussed? Please also inform him that he will be contacted in the next few days for an alliance meeting and a broadcast. Roswis, yes, I can do that for you, Issei. If you would like, I can also find out why he wasn't able to attend, but I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Issei, thank you, Rose. I appreciate it. But that's not necessary. I'm assuming there must be a good reason. However, if he does tell you, please inform me. But it's not something I'm too worried about. He is a faction leader, so I understand that he has his own responsibilities. Sometimes, the affairs of his own faction come before other obligations. And Rose and Irina, my little Kunu, can show you two around the castle, if that's alright with you, while I handle some things in the underworld with Ravel. Irina, I don't have a problem with that. I would like to see more of this castle and the beautiful scenery around it. Roswis, I wouldn't mind that. If I'm going to be staying here, I would like to know the layout, and, as Irina said, I'd like to be able to see the beautiful and tranquil scenery. Issei, alright, perfect. Okay, Kunu, can you please show them around the castle, and anything else they would like to see on the grounds? Can you do that for your dad? Kunu, I can do that for you, Dad, but I want you to play with me when you come back. Issei, alright, deal. Kunu, yes, alright, Irina and Roswis, let me show you my home. Issei, alright, Ravel, let's head to the underworld to meet your parents and tell them the news of the engagement. Ravel, alright, honey, she is blushing after giving her future husband a pet name. She then made a teleportation circle under both of them and teleported to the underworld. Currently, Ravel and Issei find themselves in the underworld. As the teleportation circle flickers and disappears, they are greeted by the majestic sight of Phoenix Castle. Ravel turns to Issei, her voice filled with concern. Ravel, Ice, are you really sure about this? You don't have to go through with it if you're not ready. Issei's eyes were full of determination as he looked at Ravel. No, Ravel, it's something I have to do. I want to make amends for all the pain I've caused you during my absence. Not only that, but I also want to make things right with your family. I want to ask each and every member for their blessing to marry you, my beautiful Phoenix. Ravel's heart swelled with emotions upon hearing Issei's words. Oh, Ice, you have no idea how much that means to me. The fact that you're doing this for me and my family, it's truly heartwarming and means so much to me, Issei. But if you're truly set on doing this, then let's head inside the castle and go see my family. I'm sure they'll be surprised to see you alive with me. Issei smiled upon seeing Ravel's cute little smile. He loved seeing her happy. It reminded him of what he needed to do. He refocused himself for the conversation that was about to happen as they both headed into the castle. The couple made their way into the castle, but when they reached the entrance of a room, Ravel asked Issei to wait outside. Ravel entered the room, which turned out to be a living room. There, she found her parents and her two brothers engrossed in a lively conversation. Lady Phoenix, oh, Ravel, you've returned so soon. How did the negotiations with the Yokai go, my dear daughter? Ravel, welcome back, sister. I hope everything went well. Lord Phoenix, daughter, it's a pleasant surprise to see you back already. How did the negotiations fare with the Yokai? Ravel, mother, father, Ravel, and Riser, it went better than I could have expected. Ravel, that's wonderful news, Ravel, but I must admit, I am curious to know what has brought such a radiant smile to your face. Riser is genuinely shocked to see his sister so full of joy again. 6. Lady Phoenix, oh, my dear, it has been far too long since we last saw that beautiful smile of yours. Lord Phoenix, it's nice to see my daughter happy again. It's been a while since I've seen you smile, not since what happened to Issei Hayadu. Ravel, speaking of Issei, there is someone I would like you all to meet. Please come in, honey. At that moment, Issei walks into the room and everyone's eyes widen in surprise as they realize who it is. Lord Lady Ravel, Riser, Issei Hayadu. Ravel, mother, father, Ravel, and Riser. I know you must have a lot of questions for him, but please let him explain. Issei sighed and started to explain everything to Lord and Lady Phoenix, Ravel, and Riser. After 45 minutes, he finished telling them everything, leaving Lord and Lady Phoenix, along with Ravel and Riser, speechless until Lord Phoenix spoke. Lord Phoenix, you know, Issei, at first I was mad that you broke up the marriage between my son and Ria's, but now I get it. You were just a pawn in her game, and she used you to get what she wanted. I am sad that the marriage did not go through, especially since the prestige and reputation of the Phoenix has gone down since that day. But now I see a way to fix that with the marriage of the Red Dragon Emperor to my lovely daughter, Ravel. But now after everything you told us and how you will be marrying Lady Yasaka soon, and becoming the new lord of the Yokai, and with you marrying our Ravel, it will strengthen our bond with the Yokai faction, not to mention that you are now half dragon and kitsune. I can only imagine the powerful offspring that will come from this union, so I approve. That's when Lord Phoenix was cut off before he could finish his sentence by his wife. Lady Phoenix, hold on, dear. I agree that Issei was manipulated and unwillingly dragged into the supernatural world, but there are some things I need to say before we give our blessing for him to marry Ravel. Issei, unlike my husband, you mean something different to me. Well, actually, to my daughter. But I want you to know, as a mother, I saw how devastated my daughter was when she thought you had died, and the actions that caused this whole situation. Although what you did was only a reaction to others' actions, it still doesn't make it any less heartbreaking to see how broken she was. She was always sad and never talked to us anymore. It hurt all of us to see her like that. but as her mother, it broke my heart to see her so heartbroken. I tried my best to comfort her, but nothing worked. I felt like a failure as a mother. So, with all that said, I understand why you did what you did because of Riaz and the others. But here's what I need to know: what does my daughter mean to you? And how will you make up for all the pain and heartache you caused her? Riser and Rueval were not surprised by their father's words. They expected nothing less from him. However, they were surprised by their mother's honesty when it came to expressing her emotions about what had happened, and how it turned Ravel into an emotionless shell of her former self. As she was saying all that, she began crying. They couldn't help but empathize with her, knowing how their sister had been shattered since Issei's supposed death. Despite their efforts to comfort her, nothing seemed to work. And now, it seemed like their mother shared the same fear that Ravel would never be the same again. Lord Phoenix, understanding his wife's pain all too well, remained silent. He had spent countless nights consoling her, assuring her that things would eventually improve and their daughter would return to her old self. But deep down, he knew how devastated she truly was. As a father, it pained him beyond words. Despite his reputation for using his children for the clan's prestige and benefit, he loved his family fiercely and felt just as broken as his wife to witness their little girl so broken. Ravel, feeling downcast after hearing her mother's emotions and seeing her tears, couldn't help but blame herself for causing her family so much pain over the past 8 months. However, before she could dwell on her guilt any longer, her attention was drawn to Issei, who stood up and spoke. Issei, I deeply apologize to you, Lord and Lady Phoenix, as well as to you, Rueval and Riser. My actions were selfish and resulted in immense pain and heartache for your family. I am truly sorry for the suffering I have caused. Additionally, I must also apologize for hurting Ravel so much. After all, she was only trying to help me and keep me from falling into despair, which she saw was being caused by the other girls on that fateful day. Despite her genuine attempts to help me, I was overwhelmed by feelings of betrayal, making me want to get away from those who I believe treated me as nothing more than expendable even after everything I've done for them. Regrettably, I gave in to despair and committed an unthinkable act in front of her, which made her think I had died. For this, I can only express my deepest apologies. All of the Phoenix family members were surprised by Issei's words. Ravel, Issei, what are you doing? Issei cut her off before she could finish speaking. Issei, I know the damage I have caused and the pain I put Ravel through. And believe me when I say this, I do not want to do that again. I'm a dragon, yet I'm also a kitsune. Being a dragon, I value my treasures, and I will protect them with everything I have. But I'm also a yokai who cherishes my partner just as much as a dragon does. I realize how much I love your daughter, and she is like a treasure to me, Lady and Lord Phoenix. From her loving and caring personality to her elegance and nobility, she shines. I love seeing when she gets flustered or how, when she's embarrassed, she acts like she doesn't care, but turns her head and has a cute pout on her face. And her delicious cooking, which she puts so much love and care into every dish she makes. And the adorable smile she has when seeing someone enjoy what she makes. Ravel was currently trying to hold back her tears of joy and happiness from hearing Issei say all the things he loves about her. Issei, Ravel is the woman I want to see smile every chance I get. I want to always wake up with her next to me, so the first thing I see would be her beautiful sapphire eyes looking at me with nothing but love. I want to see Ravel on our wedding day, smiling and happy, as I slide the ring onto her finger. She is the woman I want to have a family with and raise children together. So, Lord Phoenix, you should know that I will not let our children be used for breeding stock for the council, or for your own family's personal gain. Because I love Ravel Phoenix, and I will love the future family we make together with all of my heart. And I'll protect them from anyone or anything that wants to cause harm to my family or loved ones. Even if I must sacrifice my own life to keep them safe, I will do so without hesitation if that is necessary to protect them. With all that said, Lord and Lady Phoenix, as well as both Rueval and Riser, those are the reasons I love Ravel Phoenix, and why I want to marry her, and I hope I can get your blessings to do so. All of the Phoenix members were shocked and astonished by the amount of passion and determination they could feel in every word Issei spoke to them, especially how he talked about Ravel in such a loving and protective way. They knew Issei meant everything he said. However, Lady Phoenix was the most pleased with Issei's words regarding her daughter, and how he felt about her. She could tell that the boy had not lost his earnest and honest personality when it came to expressing his feelings. Even after everything that had happened to him, she was happy and satisfied with his answer, knowing that he truly loved her daughter. Ravel was crying out of happiness until she couldn't hold herself back anymore. After hearing everything Issei said about her, she got off the couch and ran in front of Issei. In front of her parents and both of her brothers, she jumped onto Issei, wrapping her legs around his waist and putting her arms around his head, and gave him the most passionate, loving kiss she could, while Issei reciprocated the kiss with the same amount of intensity. While this was going on, all the Phoenix members were speechless, seeing Ravel act so boldly in front of them. Eventually, they broke the kiss and looked lovingly into each other's eyes, putting their foreheads against each other. Ravel then told Issei that she loves him, and Issei told Ravel that he loves her. But they were soon broken out of their musings by a coughing sound made by Lady Phoenix. Lady Phoenix coughed, "Phew phew phew phew, oh my sweet little Ravel has become so bold." Ravel had an atomic blush after realizing the position she was in, and what she was doing in front of her entire family. She could only put her face into Issei's chest in embarrassment. Lady Phoenix, well, that's all I needed to know and see. I have made my decision. Issei Hayadu, you have my blessing to marry my daughter. So take care of her and that precious smile of hers that you treasure so much. She looked at her husband. What about you, my love? Will you give him your blessing? Lord Phoenix, Issei Hayadu, I know you must think I'm only giving you my daughter to have a strong child born from your union with her. But I've learned something after these 8 months of seeing my daughter so broken. And I now understand that my family means more to me than the prestige of my clan. With that said, I'm still a proud member of the Phoenix clan, and don't get me wrong, your joining our family will definitely fix our damaged reputation and restore our prestige. But I will no longer sacrifice my children's happiness for others' gain. So please understand that if you and my daughter have children together, I have no intentions of using my grandchildren for political gain. All I want is for them to know that they have loving grandparents, as well as 2 great uncles. Now that I've made my intentions clear to you, I give you my blessing to marry my daughter. But I will hold you to your word that you will protect my daughter with your life. 1. Issei puts Ravel down, confusing her until she sees him put his hand out in front of her father. Then, Lord Phoenix stands up and shakes Issei's hand. Issei, it makes me happy to hear that, Lord Phoenix. I give you my word that I'll protect her no matter what, he said to Lord Phoenix while smiling. Lord Phoenix, please call my wife and me mother and father from now on, because you're part of this family from now. Lady Phoenix, yes, Issei. Please just call me mother from now on. You are family now. But I must say, Issei, I'm impressed. You even made my husband change his ways and realize that his family is more important than what could benefit the clan or what the council wants. And for that, I must thank you. Issei, is that so? Well then, mother and father, feel free to call me son. I'm glad I could help him see that family is more important than some clan or council. Both Lord and Lady Phoenix are happy to know that Issei is comfortable with them calling him son. It shows that he fully accepts them as family, and they are happy to know that. Lady Phoenix, yes, indeed. But what about you, Ravel and Riser? Will you give Issei your blessings to marry your sister? Ravel is happy to see her parents accepting Issei so warmly and lovingly. They even want him to address them as mother and father, and Issei allows them to call him son. Ravel is very happy that her family is accepting him and giving their blessings for him to marry her. She is only worried about what her 2 eldest brothers think of Issei, and whether or not they will give their blessings as well. Ravel, to be honest, I haven't had many chances to actually interact with you in the past, but judging by your actions and all the deeds you have performed, I see that you are worthy enough to be with my baby sister. But even without knowing all of that, it wouldn't change the fact that I can see how happy you make my adorable baby sister. You brought back that smile we all missed, so I'm happy to call you my brother-in-law. I give you my blessing, and Ravel. Ravel, yes, Ravel. Ravel, I'm happy you have found your true love, my baby sister. Ravel ran up and hugged Ravel, thanking him. It truly meant a lot to her hearing her brother say that, and give his support in marrying the man she loves. Ravel, you're welcome, my adorable Ravel. He stood up and put out his hand to shake Issei's. Issei shook Ravel's hand. Issei, thank you, Ravel. I'm happy to know that you accept me into the family, and that I have your blessing to marry Ravel. Ravel, think nothing of it, but if you could, please give me some nieces and nephews soon, ha ha ha. Ravel blushed heavily at the comment from her brother. Ravel, don't say things like that in front of everyone. Lady Phoenix, but you had no problem passionately kissing him in front of your parents and both of your brothers, my sweet Ravel. Ravel could only blush madly and bury her face in her hands. Ravel, ha ha ha. It's good to see you act like this again, Ravel, but I think we still need to hear from one more person. Lord Phoenix, you're right, Ravel. So, Riser, what are your thoughts about Issei marrying your sister? and you giving him your blessing to do so. Everyone looks towards Riser, who finally speaks. Riser is honestly still upset about how you made my sister suffer for months, but Riser will admit that this is the first time in a long time that I've seen Ravel this happy and smiling again. And after hearing everything you said about Ravel and seeing her reaction, Riser will give you his blessing on one condition. Issei is flying through the skies of the underworld, heading to Lilith. His goal to save the hostages, take down the Cows Brigade, and make a grand return to the supernatural world. He wants everyone in the underworld, especially the kids who admire him, to know their hero is back and ready to save the day. Issei is full of hope and determination as he pushes forward, aiming for victory. Scene change. Underworld, capital city of Lilith. Terrorist leader, we have received orders to kill the hostages. Terrorist 2, can we have some fun with them before we kill them? Terrorist leader, certainly. Go ahead, men. Enjoy yourselves. Terrorist 2, alright, time for some fun. Come here, you. Mother, please. No. Child, leave my mommy alone. The child bravely stood in front of his mother, wielding a toy version of the Red Dragon's gauntlet, aimed at the terrorists. Terrorist 1, hahaha, look. The brat thinks he can fight us with a toy. Terrorist 2, hey kid, didn't anyone tell you your hero is dead? Haha. Terrorist 3, let's kill the kid and have fun with his mother. After we are done with her, we will kill her because we still have other hostages to kill and violate. Hahaha. Child, my hero isn't dead. He starts crying because I believe in the Yokai dragon, and he will return when we need him the most. Sob. And when he does, he will defeat all of you because he is our hero. But until he arrives, I'll follow in his footsteps and what he stood for. I will stand against you evil bad guys. I will stand up to you, and I won't let you hurt anyone. I will protect the innocent and those who can't protect themselves, no matter what. Because that's what he taught me, so I'll protect my mommy and make my hero proud. Sob. One of the terrorists walked over to the boy while raising his axe to strike the child, and he spoke condescendingly to the boy. Terrorist 2, haha, sorry to disappoint you, kid, but this isn't some Saturday morning cartoon TV show where the hero will save the day at the end. This is real life, kid, and no one is coming to save you or your mother or anyone else that we want to kill or harm. But I'll give you a special prize for your foolish bravery. I'll reunite you with your hero in the afterlife. Hahaha. Mother, no, please do whatever you want to me, but don't hurt my baby, please, I beg of you. The terrorist who was right in front of the boy told his mother to shut up. He told her that if he wants to play hero, then I'll show him how heroes can die horrible and meaningless deaths. But don't worry, once we're done killing him, we'll make sure you look at his dead body as we violate you. And we will take our time with it too, and make it as painful and traumatic for you as possible before we end your life. After saying that, the devil was ready to swing down his axe on the boy. The mother was stuck there, being bound with magic holding her down, preventing her from running to her son. All she could do was scream for them to stop as she watched in horror as they were going to kill her baby boy in front of her. She cried out for anyone to help to save him. Mother, please, don't do this. Please, someone, stop them, save my baby. The boy, seeing this, closed his eyes with tears still falling from them. He was terrified and scared, but he gathered all the strength and courage he had, and formed his hand into a fist with the toy version of the Red Dragon's gauntlet. While shouting with all his might and extending his arm, he mimicked the same attack his hero used. Child Issei dragon shot. The devil was blown away before his axe reached the boy. The devils were surprised by the attack that came out of nowhere, which took out one of their comrades. They also felt a sense of fear wash over them when they sensed a wave of murderous and killing intent directed towards them. This caused the devil who was casting the magic that was holding the mother down, preventing her from running up to her son, to release the spell he was casting on her, due to the pure shock and dread that he was feeling from that killing intent. Soon, one of them finally spoke up and broke the others out of their shock. Terrorist 1, what the hell? Terrorist leader, who was that? Issei, man, you guys have no shame or self-respect to try to kill a child and violate his mother. Even worse, you would do it in front of me. You all know how to truly enrage a dragon. The child's surprise grew as he realized he hadn't been struck by the attack. Recalling the earlier shout of dragon shot, he cautiously opened his eyes. To his delight, he found himself face to face with his savior, the one who had rescued both him and his mother, his hero. Overwhelmed with emotion, tears streamed down the child's face as he spoke in between sobs. It's really you, Yokai dragon. I always knew you were alive. I never stopped believing in you, because deep down, I knew you would come to our rescue. And now, here you are. Issei turns around, dematerializing his helmet, and kneels down on one knee to look at the boy, while giving a warm and reassuring smile before speaking. Issei, good job. Little man, you showed those bad guys that you're not someone to mess with. The Yokai dragon is super proud of you, both for being so brave and for standing up for your mom. You held them off until I got here, but rest assured, your hero is here, and I will take care of it from here. Now, while I handle these guys, I need you and your mom to get out of here. That's when the boy's mother runs up and grabs her child in a loving embrace, holding him while crying. She then looks up to the man whom everyone knows is the hero of the underworld, the Red Dragon Emperor Issei. She is so happy and relieved that her son was saved by his hero, and even more relieved, knowing that if their hero is here, everything will be alright, and he will save everybody. Getting out of her thoughts, she speaks to him in a somber and grateful tone. Mother, thank you so much for saving me and my child. Sobbing, Issei stands up and turns to face the devil terrorist while speaking to the mother. No problem, ma'am, but I must ask you to leave with your child immediately. It's not safe here, and I don't want either of you to be caught up in the fighting. Mother, yes, of course, thank you so much for saving my baby boy and protecting both of us. I am forever grateful. Afterwards, the mother picked up her son and they began heading in a different direction to escape the area before the fighting broke out. However, before they could get too far away, the boy managed to wipe away his tears and speak to Issei, offering some encouraging words. Child, kick their butts, Yokai dragon. Issei gave a thumbs up to the boy, who smiled while his mother held him as they ran away. Eventually, they were both out of sight. Issei then focused his attention on the enemy, materializing his helmet for the fight to come, while asking his dragon partner Drake something. Issei, Drake, did you see the way that child stood up to defend his mother? Drake, yes, I did, partner. Issei, then you understand the depth of my rage that these devil bastards have stirred within me. Drake, I understand, partner. Let's show them what it means to fight an enraged and angered dragon. Do it for that child who stood up for his mother and for everyone else who has been waiting for you to return. It's time for them to see that their hero has returned to save them once again. And for our enemies to know that the Red Dragon Emperor has returned and will show them why they feared you before, and why they will fear you once again. Issei, I completely agree with you. Let's show them the unstoppable force of an enraged and angered dragon that they have just brought upon themselves. Drake, I agree with you, partner. Now show that anger and rage that they brought out of you. Terrorist 1, what are you talking about? And how are you alive? We thought you were dead. Terrorist 3, yeah, we never expected to face the Red Dragon Emperor again. Terrorist leader, enough, it makes no difference now, because we will be the ones to kill him, and be given the glory and praise for doing so, once we bring your severed head to the leaders of the Chaos Brigade. 1. Issei, you all seem to think killing me and taking my head will be easy. Well, go ahead, give it a shot. I dare you all to come at me and see if you're capable of taking me down. Scene change: the capital of Lilith, outside the terrorist-controlled areas of the city. Reporter, we are now broadcasting live from the capital of Lilith, providing an update on the current situation. I am joined here by Surzich's Lucifer and Seraphil Leviathan. Could you share any details about your plan to rescue the hostages held by the Chaos Brigade? Before they could respond, a thunderous dragon's roar echoed through the air, capturing everyone's attention. All eyes turned upwards, filled with astonishment. Issei Ryoyor. Reporter, I am utterly amazed by the spectacle unfolding before my eyes. Issei Hayadu, the Red Dragon Emperor and the true hero of the underworld, has returned and is currently battling against the Chaos Brigade. Seraphil Isaacin. Surzich's Issei. The citizens erupted in cheers, their hearts filled with hope, as they witnessed their revered hero return to rescue them in their darkest hour. However, none were as overjoyed and exhilarated as the children who caught a glimpse of their beloved Yokai dragon returning to restore peace and save the day. Back with Issei. Issei, Drake, there are so many of them. It's like dealing with multiple annoying mosquitoes that won't leave you alone. So, I think it's time we get out the bug spray. Don't you think? Let's show how truly outmatched these terrorist devil scum are compared to us. What do you say, partner? Drake, I agree, partner. They aren't even a threat to us. They are like annoying bugs flying around us that couldn't hurt us. They only act as a mere annoyance. However, you have the power to blast them all away in a second if you truly power up to your full potential right now. But you would waste more power just by powering up than you would use to take them out. It would be overkill. I also don't believe that they are worthy enough to die to such power, considering these individuals are willing to violate women and kill children. They don't deserve the honor of dying by your full strength. Personally, they shouldn't even be granted the pleasure of dying by my balance breaker. However, I understand why you're using it, but I digress, though I do agree with your idea. You should give your new moves a try and see how much better you've become with the mastery of these new techniques you've created. Issei, yeah, I guess you're right. I could take care of these terrorists without breaking a sweat. But come on, where's the excitement in that? Gotta flex a little, you know, give the people that have been waiting for my return a show, and show the children how strong their hero has become. Drake, well, I think I know what you're getting at, partner, and I completely agree. Let's do it. Issei, hell yeah, I'm glad you agree with what I was thinking, Drake, but enough talk. It's time to kick some terrorist ass, but first, let's even the playing field a little bit with some of my dragon clones. Soon, Issei was engulfed in a red glow, and as quickly as it came, it disappeared. What came from it was 10 Issei clones, all adorned in the balance breaker armor. Drake, exceptional work, partner, you've outdone yourself. You made 10 clones this time, a new record. Issei, hell yeah, a new record, but that's enough wasting time, let's get to it. Drake agreed. Issei, alright boys, our mission is to rescue the hostages and eliminate every last member of the Cows Brigade. I want all the members of this terrorist group to suffer a painful death. They deserve it for what they've done. Make them suffer for all the innocent lives they have hurt and those they've killed. But above all else, make sure rescuing the hostages is the priority, and no harm comes to them in the process. Understand? Clones, yes sir. After that, Issei and his 10 clones split up and begin rescuing the hostages and defeating the members of the Cows Brigade. Meanwhile, the news reporters and Devil Kings watch intently, closely observing the unfolding situation. Seraphol, oh my, there are now 10 Isaacins. Sursages, when did he acquire such a remarkable ability? Reporter, I am genuinely astonished to witness the Red Dragon Emperor unveiling a newfound power. He is effortlessly rescuing the hostages and triumphing over the Cows Brigade. After a short amount of time, the remaining members of the Cows Brigade were killed or managed to retreat, and all the hostages were successfully freed. Issei realized he had won the battle and defeated the Cows Brigade assault. He called back his dragon clones, absorbing them back into himself, before releasing a resounding roar of triumph. Issei Rao. 2. After Issei let out his victory roar, he noticed Sursages, Seraphol, and a reporter below. He used a message spell to ask Seraphol for help in arranging a meeting with the other Devil Kings, and a certain individual he's been meaning to talk to. He also wanted her to give the reporter a message on his behalf about the upcoming broadcast he intends to do, showing all those within the underworld and members of the Alliance what happened to him, everything he has learned, and what he wants to tell them all. Issei then flew off in the direction of Leviathan Castle to meet up with Seraphol, have the meeting with the other Devil Kings, and talk to someone he has been wanting to see, but hasn't been able to properly speak with since his return. Reporter, it brings me immense joy to report that our valiant hero not only made a miraculous return when we needed him the most, but also rescued the hostages from the clutches of the Cows Brigade. He single-handedly beat back the Cows Brigade's assault. Lady Seraphol and Lord Sursages, I am eager to hear your thoughts on the Red Dragon Emperor's current return, his newfound abilities, and the transformation he displayed and underwent. Seraphol stepped up and took the microphone from the reporter to deliver Issei's message. Seraphol, I am here to provide information to those who have questions regarding Issei Hayadu. He will be making a public address in a few days to explain his disappearance and absence, and share details of the past 8 months. This is the message he wanted me to pass on to those citizens within the underworld and members and citizens of the different factions of the Alliance until the broadcast day. That's all I have been asked to relay. I will let my fellow Mu, Sursages Lucifer, take it from here with any further questions you may have. After returning the microphone to the reporter, Seraphol proceeded to walk towards Sursages. She informed him about Issei's request for a gathering with all the Devil Kings. Seraphol, Sursages, Issei has summoned a meeting with all the Devil Kings, and he specifically expressed his desire to meet with us. With that, Seraphol vanished in a teleportation circle, leaving Sursages to handle the remaining tasks. Sursages, so, Issei wants to have another conversation with me. I hope I can mend our relationship, or at least help him reconcile with Graphia. She's been feeling so down, believing that Issei despises her. But damn it, Seraphol just left me to deal with this mess on my own. Scene change to Leviathan Castle. As Seraphol arrived at the Leviathan Castle, she was taken aback to find Issei already waiting for her in her office. The sight of him brought a smile to her face, as she had longed for his presence during his 8-month absence. Seraphol, hey Isaacan. Unable to contain her excitement, Seraphol embraced Issei, expressing her admiration for his triumphant return, and his newfound abilities and techniques. Issei, thank you, Seraphol, but I actually came here with a purpose. Seraphol, oh, what might that be, Isaacan? Issei, I would like to speak to Graphia in private, just the two of us, if you don't mind. Seraphil smiling. I can arrange that, Issei. Grateful for Seraphil's willingness to assist, Issei expressed his gratitude before she arranged a room for his meeting with Graphia. Seraphil then reached out to Graphia to convey Issei's request. Seraphil, hello Graphia, I hope I'm not bothering you, but I need to ask you something. Graphia, good day Lady Seraphil. And no, it's not a bother at all. But how may I be of assistance to you? Seraphil, I have someone who would like to have a private meeting with you. Graphia, oh, is that so? May I inquire who it is? Seraphil, it's Issei. He asked me to contact you for a private meeting prior to the gathering with the other Devil Kings. Graphia, I will be there in 15 minutes. Seraphil, alright, see you then. Scene change, Lucifuge Castle. After concluding the call with Seraphil, Graphia experiences a mix of nervousness and anticipation. The prospect of meeting Issei, someone she regards as a little brother, holds immense significance for her. Before leaving, Graphia plans to leave Milikas with his grandparents. However, before she can tell her son anything, Milikas notices that his mother looks nervous and sees her hands shaking. He asks her if she is okay. Milikas, mom, are you okay? Your hands are shaking. Graphia, yes, sweetheart, I am fine. I just need to attend to some matters. But can you go and spend some time with your grandparents? Milikas, if you are sure, mom. And alright? After Milikas left his mom to be with his grandparents, Graphia couldn't help but reflect on how much her son longed for Issei's presence as a beloved older brother figure. A solitary tear escaped her eye, silently conveying her yearning for reconciliation. With a heavy heart, Graphia utilized teleportation to arrive at the Leviathan Castle, holding on to hope that her meeting with Issei would mend their relationship and restore joy to their family. Scene change, Seraphil's office. Graphia teleported to the Leviathan Castle and arrived in Seraphil's office. The room looked grand with beautiful tapestries and lavish furniture, matching the castle's regal atmosphere. Seraphil then greeted Graphia kindly, saying, "Welcome Graphia." Graphia nodded in acknowledgement with a courteous bow and replied, "Thank you Lady Seraphil." Seraphil quickly told Graphia there was no time for small talk or pleasantries and informed her where she could find Issei. She instructed Graphia to follow her to go see him. "Come with me, Issei is waiting," she said. Graphia smiled briefly before returning to her serious and stoic expression, asking Lady Seraphil to please lead the way. They walked for about 5 minutes, until Seraphil brought Graphia to a room in the castle. "He's in there," Seraphil told her. "You two can have a private meeting. I have some tasks to do before the meeting with the Devil Kings that Issei called for. You have about an hour before that meeting, so there's plenty of time for you to talk and clear things up. I have my own duties as the Mu, so I'll leave now." Graphia thanked Seraphil. "Thank you," she said. Seraphil smiled reassuringly and left. "You're welcome. I believe things will turn out better than you think," she said, encouraging Graphia before disappearing around the corner. Left alone, Graphia took a deep breath before opening the door and stepping into the room. She closed the door behind her, turned around to find Issei standing up, a warm smile on his face. "Issei, hey. Big sister," Issei greeted her with a warm and kind smile. "It's good to see you again, but this time in a better situation." 1. Graphia's stoic demeanor crumbled as Issei's words touched her heart. The boy she had always considered her little brother referred to her as his big sister. Overwhelmed with emotion, she rushed towards him, wrapping her arms tightly around him as tears streamed down her face. "How could you do this to your big sister?" she cried, her voice a mix of relief and frustration. "Do you realize how heartbroken I was when I believed I had lost you forever?" Issei gently embraced Graphia, providing her with the space to express the suppressed emotions she had concealed for so long. "I understand, sis," he whispered softly. "Please take a seat and I'll tell you everything, especially the things I wanted to share, before you had to leave with Surzich's and Ria's, because of Lady Amaterasu's orders." As Issei explained the situation to Graphia, Seraphil took the initiative to contact the other Devil Kings, Ajuka Beelzebub and Falbium Asmodeus, informing them about Issei's request for a meeting with all the Devil Kings present. Falbium expressed surprise upon hearing Ajuka's previous mention of Issei's return as the Red Dragon Emperor, confirming the authenticity of the news. Seraphil affirmed Falbium's observation, emphasizing that Issei must have something of great importance to discuss with all the Devil Kings in attendance. Ajuka inquired about the timing of the meeting, to which Seraphil replied that it would commence in an hour. asking if there were any scheduling conflicts. Meanwhile, Issei and Grafia continued their conversation, with Issei taking an additional 45 minutes to disclose all the details, including his future plans moving forward. Grafia: Issei, I understand your reasoning, and I appreciate your efforts to protect my son. However, it's crucial for you to realize that your plan will sever your ties with the Gremory clan. Moreover, by exposing the council's favoritism towards pure-blooded devils and their involvement in the Nekomata race's slaughter and enslavement, you will make yourself a target. Have you considered the potential consequences of your actions? Issei: Grafia, I am fully aware of the implications. I want to clarify that my intentions are not aimed at Lady Vinalana or Lord Zeoticus. However, as Riaz is the heiress of the Gremory clan, her actions reflect on the clan and its reputation within the Devil Society. By revealing the abuses of power and misconduct she has committed while governing, Grafia: Issei, I must say, you have grown remarkably within such a short span of time. I am incredibly proud of you for taking your future responsibilities as a faction leader seriously. I completely support your plans moving forward. However, it is important to inform the other Devil Kings, including Surzich's, especially considering that some of your plans involve our son, Milika's. Issei: I understand, Grafia. I have already made arrangements for that. After rescuing the hostages and defeating the Cow's Brigade, I had Serafal inform the other Maos that I requested a meeting with all of them. Grafia: I see that you have thought ahead in that regard. But what about Azazel, Michael and Auden? Do you intend to involve them in your plans as well? Issei: Yes, I definitely plan on including Azazel, Michael, and Auden. However, I'll talk to those three leaders separately. I will have the same conversation with you as I will with them, but I believe it would be best to disclose that information once everyone else is present. Grafia: That sounds reasonable, Issei. However, before we continue, there is something I need to tell you. But before Grafia could proceed, they heard a knock on the door of the room where they were having their meeting in. Serafal: Sorry for interrupting, but the other Devil Kings will arrive soon. We need to head to the meeting room now. Issei: Alright, we'll be right there. Grafia: Can we continue our conversation after the meeting? Grafia: Yes, we can continue our conversation afterwards. Issei: Okay, let's head to the meeting room then. Grafia agreed. We shouldn't keep anyone waiting. Scene shifts to the meeting room in the Leviathan Castle. Issei: Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this meeting. I have important matters to discuss with you. Surzich's: Issei, it's no trouble at all. However, we are curious about the purpose of this gathering. Issei: I understand Lord Surzich's Lucifer. To put it simply, I want to expose the Council's crimes, including the slaughter of the Nekomata and Nekishu, their favoritism towards pure-blood devils, and their mistreatment of lower to mid-class devils and reincarnated devils. Additionally, I intend to sever ties with the Gremory clan for two reasons. First, I aim to bring Riaz Gremory's actions to light. Lord Felbium, have you been briefed on the situation by Serafal or Ajuka? Felbium: Yes, Red Dragon Emperor. Ajuka has already informed me, but please call me Felbium. I insist. Issei: Alright, only if you call me Issei. Felbium: Fair enough. Issei, please continue with what you were saying before we got sidetracked. Issei: You're right. Let's get back to the topic at hand. If I expose everything Riaz has done, it will likely result in a complete severance of my relationship with the Gremory clan. This brings me to my next point. I have no sympathy for Riaz because her actions have brought her to this point. As the heir to the Gremory clan, any action she takes, whether good or bad, reflects on the entire clan and influences how others perceive it. Ajuka, you should understand this well, considering how Diodora's actions negatively impacted the Astaroth clan as a whole. Ajuka: That is indeed true. Diodora's foolish actions have caused significant damage to our clan. Issei: However, as I mentioned before, Ajuka, I am determined to strengthen my relationship with the Astaroth clan in order to assist in repairing our clan's reputation. Surzich's: While I understand your focus on the Astaroth clan, I have concerns regarding my son, Milika's. He will suffer alongside Riaz and the Gremory clan. Therefore, it is entirely justified for you to reveal the truth and the crimes committed by my sister. I agree that it is due to the indulgence and self-centeredness my parents and I displayed towards Riaz that we have reached this point. I fear that young Milika's will bear the brunt of something he had no involvement in. Issei: Surzich's, I am relieved to hear that you acknowledge your role in spoiling Riaz. You are not requesting me to withhold the truth about her crimes or shield her from facing the consequences of her actions. Sursages, I have come to realize that my parents and I played a part in shaping Riaz into a self-centered and entitled young woman. It has become evident to me that I have failed as an older brother when I witnessed her begging and pleading for you not to expose her crimes. Protecting her would only enable her behavior, and could lead to more problems in the future. As the Devil King, Sursages Lucifer, I cannot turn a blind eye to the abuse of her power and mishandling of the territory, especially in violation of the agreement with the Shinto pantheon. Lady Amaterasu was justified in her actions towards both me and my sister. I now understand why you defended Seraphol and Sona. Sursages stood up and bowed before Issei. Issei, I wholeheartedly apologize to you, not just as the Devil King Lucifer, but as Sursages Gremory. Issei, there is no longer any need for you to apologize. I can see that you have acknowledged your mistakes with Riaz and are actively trying to correct them by allowing her to face the consequences. So, I had a discussion with Grafia about this beforehand. I believe the best way to protect Milikas from the impending chaos in the Gremory family is for him to become a Lucifuge. Sursages what? Grafia, I understand your love for your family, but considering Ria's actions and the negative repercussions they will have on the Gremory family, the only way to spare Milikas from that is for him to separate from the Gremory household. Sursages Grafia, are you suggesting what I think you are? Grafia, yes, my king. I propose that Milikas revive the Lucifuge family and assume the role of the new heir to the clan. Sursages, I see. Issei, I understand, Sursages, that this might be shocking to hear, but honestly, believe me, it's the best option for Milikas. Grafia also agrees with me on this, seeing this as the best plan for young Milikas to prevent him from being an unwilling participant in the consequences of your sister's actions. Additionally, I would like your and Grafia's permission to take Milikas with me to Kyoto for a while, until things settle down. And with Milikas and Kunu being similar in age, it would be beneficial for them to interact and play together and become friends with each other and possibly even more in the future. Grafia, he is absolutely right, my king. Milikas lacks the opportunities to interact with kids his age, so this would be beneficial for him. And like Issei said, Kunu and Milikas are near the same age range, and it would be good to see them become friends or even more. Moreover, you can trust that he will be safe with Issei and Yasaka there. He will continue his studies, having somebody to do it with instead of doing it alone. And, as Issei said, this will keep Milikas from dealing with the consequences of your sister's actions. So, I firmly agree with this plan proposed by Issei. Issei, exactly. Kunu will also benefit from having a steady partner, and generally just having someone her age to play with. But with all that said, Sursages, what do you think about this plan? Sursages, though it pains me to admit it, you are both correct. Milikas will undoubtedly face the repercussions of Ria's actions. Therefore, I agree to Milikas leaving the Gremory household and reviving the Lucifuge house. He can also stay in Kyoto with you and Yasaka for a period of time until the situation calms down. It would be good for him to be able to play with somebody around his own age. Like you said, if they become just friends or maybe even something more, I don't see any downsides to this. However, I request that Grafia visit and monitor his well-being regularly, if that is agreeable. Issei, I'm perfectly fine with that. Is Grafia as well? Grafia, I would have no problem with that. 1, because he's still my little baby boy, and I would love to be able to keep an eye on him and check on his well-being. I would be able to spend some more time with my little brother to make up for lost time, though I won't be able to be there all the time because I still have to keep up with my duties as your queen, among other things. Sursages, I'm on board with your plan, Issei, but I would now like to know more, and I assume everyone else here that you have called to be in this meeting would also like to know your overall plan and intentions for your broadcast, if you wouldn't mind. Issei, I'm glad you agree, and of course, now that that's settled, I can get into that. Issei then began to explain everything, including his plans for the broadcast. He discussed some of the things he intends to bring up, along with what happened to him in his engagements. After about 2 hours of discussion and going over all the details, including how it would be publicized to the underworld media, they began preparations to announce that he intended to reveal the council's misdeeds. He also mentioned his new place among the alliance as the new Yokai faction leader. He knew full well the consequences of this announcement and the aftermath that would follow. In just a matter of days, the very foundations of the underworld would be rocked to their core. The hero's imminent announcement would send shockwaves through the ranks of the devils, leaving certain individuals to face the consequences of their actions. The time had come to bring to light the crimes of the council and hold them accountable for their actions against the Yokai faction. Soon all would know the new lord of the Yokai, and enemies and allies alike would learn to respect and fear the power he now held. The meeting between Issei and everyone had just ended, and now he was walking through the Leviathan mansion with Seraphil. She had mentioned that there were some people who wanted to see him, which didn't come as a surprise to Issei. After all, he had just made his big return, saving people and showcasing his new appearance and powers. He couldn't help but feel curious about who Seraphil was leading him to. As they reached the door of the room where the people were waiting, Seraphil spoke up. Seraphil, so, ready Issei, you'll probably be bombarded with questions, but these people are also here to help us prepare for the upcoming broadcast. It's the perfect opportunity to have a chat and fill them in on everything that happened. Issei raised an eyebrow, intrigued, but nodded in agreement. He pushed open the doors fully and was taken aback, because standing there were Sona and her entire peerage, all waiting for him. Everyone Issei. Sona's peerage ran up to him, eager to embrace the person they thought was dead. Only Tsubaki, Saji, and Sona held back, a mix of shock and relief on their faces. Issei, hey, guys, it's been a while. I can tell you all missed me. Momo, of course, we did. You've done so much for everyone. When we heard what happened, we were heartbroken. We searched tirelessly, hoping against hope that you were still alive. Ryoshi's right. We all had so much respect for you. We saw the good you did for everyone, even with your perverted side. You always strive to be a good person and bring joy to those around you. Tomo, we may have had some clashes in the student council, but that doesn't mean we don't care about you. We were all angry and upset when we found out what Rias and her peerage did to you. Tsubasa, yeah, we had to hold Sona back from killing Rias when we heard the truth. She was absolutely furious. Sona blushed and cleared her throat, trying to dismiss Tsubasa's comment. Sona, enough, Tsubasa. At that moment, Issei locked eyes with someone, causing Issei to release his embrace on everyone and approach Saji. The unexpected punch from Saji, which Issei caught, still surprised everyone, but his words quickly followed. Saji, why didn't you come back sooner? Why did you make us all suffer thinking that you were gone? I understand that what happened to you was difficult, and I don't know the full story yet. But you have to know that all of us were hurting in your absence. My king was upset, and even someone I considered a brother was affected. We had our rivalry, but I still respected you. You just left. You could have come to us for help. I don't know what happened, but I need an explanation. But more importantly, Issei interrupted him, expressing his understanding and remorse. He acknowledged that everything would be explained to them, and expressed gratitude for the caring people who still had faith in him. After the exchange, Saji and Issei shared a brotherly embrace until the arrival of Sona and Tsubaki, prompting them to break apart. 2. Issei, hey, Sona and Tsubaki. I wanted to have this conversation with both of you. Before I explain everything, I just want you to know that whatever you're feeling, it's valid. Sona, I understand that opening up might be difficult with so many people around, but please know that I'm here for you. And Tsubaki, I can sense that you're going through some emotional turmoil. If you want, you can let it all out. I'm here now, so there's no reason to keep it bottled up. Tsubaki, breaking her usual stoic facade, couldn't hold back anymore. She embraced Issei tightly, tears streaming down her face as she spoke. Tsubaki, Issei, I'm so incredibly sorry for what happened. You didn't deserve any of it. It breaks my heart to think that someone I had feelings for could do something so cruel to someone as kind-hearted and selfless as you. You've always put your life on the line for others, and finding out that Kiba betrayed you made me furious. If I hadn't had to restrain Sona at the time, I would have attacked him myself. But I'm so happy and glad you're back. Issei returned the embrace, feeling the wetness of Tsubaki's tears on his clothes. He held her tight in a comforting hug, reassuring her that everything is all right before speaking. Issei, please don't blame yourself, Tsubaki. I can see that all of you were hurt by what happened to me. I'm sorry for making things worse with my actions, but in that moment, I needed to get away. I couldn't be a part of a peerage that only valued me as long as I did exactly what she wanted. I may regret how I handled it, but I don't regret why I did it. That being said, I'm grateful to be back and to feel the love from all of you, who truly care for me. Issei ended the hug with Tsubaki and turned to face Sona. Finally, Tsubaki understood what needed to be done and stepped back, joining the rest of the peerage and Seraphil. Sona, hello Haidu. It has been some time since we last met. I've noticed that you've undergone both physical and behavioral changes. It appears that the past 8 months have had a profound impact on your life. You now possess the presence of a yokai dragon, rather than that of a devil. Could you please explain how this came to be? When Sona's peerage became aware of this revelation, they were taken aback and began to focus on Issei's newfound presence. One of them spoke up, expressing their bewilderment. Raruko, how is this even possible? Saji, Issei, what happened to you? Issei, it seems there are many questions that need answers. This is going to be a long-winded explanation, so I think it'd be best for all of us to take a seat before I start. Is that all right with you? Sona, very well. Please start from the beginning and provide us with a comprehensive account of what has transpired. We are all curious to know what occurred during your absence over the past 8 months. Issei took a deep breath, sat up straight, and prepared to share the full story. As he began explaining everything to Sona and her peerage, another conversation was taking place at Yasaka's castle with Irina, Roswis, and Kunu. While Yasaka was talking with her guest whom her little red fox saved from the Cows Brigade 2 months ago, an old friend came over and brought an unexpected but welcome visitor. Scene change, Yasaka Castle, with Irina, Roswis, and Kunu exploring the grounds. The air was filled with a sense of curiosity and anticipation as they soaked in the beauty and grandeur of the castle. Irina, unable to contain her thoughts any longer, turned to Roswis to engage in a heartfelt conversation. Irina, Roswis, I can't help but wonder if Issei's forgiveness is genuine. I mean, he openly admitted in front of everyone that he had lost all feelings for the other girls. It's remarkable that he still loves me, and it fills my heart with joy thinking about it. Yet, I can't shake off the torment of seeing his sad smile, the tears in his eyes, when he asked me to end his pain by killing him. It was heart-wrenching, and I couldn't bear to bring him more suffering when I was already the cause of so much pain. I still question whether I truly deserve him, let alone his forgiveness. 1. Just as Roswis was about to respond, Kunu interrupted their conversation by halting in her tracks, causing them to stop as well. She turned around, facing Irina directly, and spoke with unexpected insight and maturity. Kunu, Angel, I may not know the specifics of what happened in that meeting, but I found my hero a few months ago, lying on the ground, wounded and broken from whatever ordeal you and the other girls had put him through. My mother and I spent months nurturing his spirit, helping him heal from those emotional wounds. One thing I've learned is that he could never completely let go of his feelings for you, Angel. It's been both beautiful and painful to witness his struggles and progress, but my dad loves you, and he has a kind and forgiving heart. He has chosen to give you a second chance, which means you must be special to him. My mother always taught me that when someone forgives you and offers you a chance to make amends, you should never doubt your worth. Take this opportunity to prove to yourself that you are deserving of his forgiveness, and cherish the love that he still holds for you. Both Irina and Roswis were taken aback by the maturity and upfront honesty of the 8-year-old Kunu. Irina, moved by Kunu's words, knelt down and embraced the little fox girl. 1. Irina, thank you, Kunu. Your words have dispelled my doubts. I promise you that I will never hurt Ice like that ever again. From now on, I will only love and care for him. I won't make the same mistake again, I promise that. Kunu was grateful for Irina's response and returned the hug. After a few seconds, they broke apart and Kunu spoke up. Kunu, I'm glad to hear that you won't cause my father any more pain. But let's move on from this sad topic and continue exploring the grounds. Oh, by the way, are you a Valkyrie? I'm curious. Roswis was puzzled by the question but nodded in confirmation. Kunu excitedly approached Roswis, surprising both Irina and Roswis. Kunu, since you're from the Norse pantheon, maybe you can help. Dad has been searching for a specific spell in the Great Yokai Mystical Library, but he hasn't found any information except for a few references. Maybe you can help him if you're familiar with Norse magic, right? Upon hearing that Issei was looking for a particular spell, Irina stood up and exchanged a perplexed look with Roswis. Roswis then turned her attention back to Kunu. Roswis, yes, I come from the Norse pantheon, and I used to serve under Odin as one of his Valkyries, but I'm a devil now. But I could try to help Issei if I know the spell he's looking for. I'm just surprised that he's seeking a spell from the Norse pantheon. Do you happen to know the name of the spell? Kunu pondered for a moment before responding. Kunu, I think Dad mentioned something called, Valhalla's Gate. Roswis's face revealed confusion as she had never come across such a spell. Despite her extensive research in Asgard's archives and even Odin's personal library, she had never encountered it. 1. Roswis, I've never heard of that spell before. I have searched through the Asgard's archives and even some of Odin's personal collection, but no record of such a spell exists. It's possible that it's a forbidden spell that has been lost throughout history or locked away. It might be best to consult Odin himself. He may have knowledge about it that I don't possess. I can contact him for you, if you'd like. Kunuye, it would be great if you could help my dad with his research by contacting that old pervy eye guy. But let's not forget about the tour. I still have more to show you in the castle. After that, my dad said you guys would play with me. Let's go. Kunu turned around and started walking back down the castle corridors, leaving Irina and Roswis looking at each other. Irina, so, you're telling me that you've never come across a spell called Valhalla's Gate before? Roswis, no. I have thoroughly searched through the archives of Asgard and even explored some of Odin's own personal collections of spells, but I have never come across any mention of such a spell. It is possible that it is a forbidden or lost spell that is hidden somewhere within the archives. I find it concerning that Issei has been going to find spells like this or similar ones in the Yokai mystical library, especially since he found a reference to the so-called spell called Valhalla's Gate, and is looking for more information about this spell. Irina, I wonder why Issei would need a spell like this. It makes me think he might have stumbled upon something unknown to us. Roswis, it is a possibility. Considering that Issei has been away for 8 months, he could have used that time not only to train, but also to investigate the various groups attacking our alliance, such as the Cows Brigade. He might have discovered something that necessitates the use of specific spells. My concern lies in the fact that this spell could be in a forbidden section of Asgard's library, or even in Odin's forbidden texts, accessible only to him. This raises further worries about the potential consequences of using such a spell. Irina, the thought of him uncovering something dangerous or forbidden is quite terrifying. Let's hope we are just overthinking things and it's nothing of that nature. Roswis, yes, we will have to wait for an opportunity to ask Issei about it. In the meantime, it would be best not to dwell on it too much and just focus on the present. Just then Kunu calls out to them, reminding them that she still has more to show them. Kunu, hey, are you two coming? I still have plenty of things to show you. Irina and Roswis realize that there is not much they can do with the limited information they have. They decide to catch up with Kunu and continue their tour of the castle, trusting that they will get a chance to discuss this matter with Issei later on. Elsewhere in Yasaka Castle, she was having a conversation with the last descendant of the Leviathan clan, Ingvald Leviathan. At the same time, her old friend Karara came over with a certain neck issue. Yasaka, how are you doing? Dear, I hope you understand why I sent you away for the meeting. My little red fox was worried about your safety, as he believed that your presence could have been sensed by the devils present for the meeting, and he didn't want to expose you yet due to what you know, and what the council would do to keep you from talking, especially after what you've already been through and all he went through to save you. Ingvald, no worries. I completely understand why he wanted me to leave during the meeting. So, how did it go? Yasaka, surprisingly well, better than we could have expected. It was surprising Lady Amaterasu herself showed up, which added a bit of tension to the situation. But overall, everything worked out. It seems he finally made peace with the one girl he could never forget and admitted his feelings for her. Ingvald, so, he confirmed his love for the girl Irina. That's good to hear, but I can't help but feel uneasy about her involvement in what happened to him, as you told me. Despite that, I'm glad he was able to forgive her and give her a second chance. At least now, Irina has an opportunity to redeem herself, unlike the other girls you mentioned. Yasaka, indeed, Irina has a chance to make amends, and I believe she will do everything in her power to do so. He forgave her for a reason, and I trust his judgment. He also made amends with the young phoenix, the woman who tried to save him from his darkness when he appeared on my doorstep. Ingvald, you mean Ravel Phoenix? Right, I'm glad they were able to reconcile. I heard it was quite an emotional scene, but it's good they sorted things out. Yasaka, yes, he made it up to her. They had a conversation in the meeting with the other Devil Kings, this time in the presence of Circiches. But my dear, when are you going to confess your feelings? I know you care for him, and after all you've done for him during his recovery these past 2 months, it's only fair that you have a chance at love as well. Ingvald, I want to. I really do. But I think I should wait until after he makes his announcement. He already has a lot of important things going on, and I just don't want to trouble him any more than he already is. Because I need to avoid putting more stress on him, and I'm also afraid that he won't reciprocate my feelings. 1. Yasaka nonsense. Anyone who waits to reveal their love for the person they have fallen for is destined to lose them. Ingvold, you must not hesitate in the war for love. I guarantee that he shares the same feelings for you. I recommend that you tell him. And yes, indeed, you will be going there to help my friend expose the crimes of the council along with my little red fox, who plans to broadcast his message and reveal what happened to him. Ingvold, all right. If you think that's what I should do, then I will definitely tell him how I feel and confess my feelings to him. I will also ask him to announce me as one of his fiancés and mates. And yes, it's necessary for him to do it. That's why he kept me hidden for the past 2 months, so that the council couldn't interfere or put a stop to it. I have valuable information against them, considering they were the ones who handed me over to the Cows Brigade. Their failed attempt to control the dragons with my sacred gear is quite significant. Yasaka, good. There is no need to hide your feelings, and I will definitely help you when the time comes. It was fortunate that my little red fox was in the area searching for certain spells. He stumbled upon information about the Cows Brigade's plan for you, and when he learned about the meeting in your captivity, he bravely stormed the fortress to rescue you. Ingvold, yes, I am truly grateful to him. It was a stroke of luck that I got to witness his heroism and his fearlessness. He charged into an entire fortress just to save one girl, and it made my heart skip a beat. I've never had a man go to such great lengths for me without ulterior motives. Yasaka, indeed, he is a loving man with a big heart. He is fearless when it comes to saving others, even if it means risking his own life. Yasaka glanced towards the sliding door and spoke, wouldn't you agree, Kuroka? Kuroka, your observation skills are as sharp as ever, Lady Yasaka. Yasaka, of course. It seems like you have arrived as well, Kurara. It's been a while. I'm glad you were able to take care of our little Ingvold while the meeting was taking place. Out of everyone, you are one of the few I can trust with such an important responsibility, considering how vital she is to both me and my little red fox. Kurara, hey there, no worries about it, considering the new mate you've got. It's about time someone takes a stand and gets justice for the slaughter of my people. I'm actually excited to be a part of this broadcast and shed some light on the council's misdeeds and the unprovoked massacre of the Nekomata and Nekishu. 2. Kurara, an elegant Nekishu with striking black hair adorned with ornate Japanese buns, emanates an air of beauty. She wears a revealing outfit that accentuates her alluring cleavage, while her orange and yellowish eyes sparkle with allure. 2 graceful cat tails and delicate cat ears grace her head and rear, completing her enchanting appearance. Kuroka, absolutely, I'm all for justice. Yasaka, speaking of which, Kuroka, I've been meaning to ask you, how are Volley and your team doing? I heard that you informed them a while ago that Issei was still alive, and you all had a discussion about something. Mind filling me in on the details? Kuroka, oh, sure thing, Lady Yasaka. When I finally managed to set up a meeting with Issei and my group, the atmosphere was pretty tense. Lefei was thrilled to see her idol hero live. Arthur and Biku were pretty upset about what had happened to him, but understood there was nothing they could do about it now. They were also surprised to find out that he is no longer a devil, but a Yokai dragon hybrid. But our team's battle maniac and leader was more interested in how strong Issei had become. They were ready to throw down until I had to step in and remind them why we were there. Long story short, we've decided to leave the Cows Brigade, because we noticed that there's an even more shady group operating from within. We don't want any part of it anymore. We were discussing the idea of joining the Alliance, but considering our criminal records, it would have been hard. We figured we needed at least 2 faction leaders to support us, and we thought we could probably get that from Azazel, but we'd face a lot of criticism. So we thought, why not ask Issei? Considering he is your mate husband and will be the next lord of the Yokai, we were hoping he could grant us amnesty and protection, allowing us to serve the Alliance under the Yokai faction. Yasaka, so you and your group intend to leave the Cows Brigade and join the Alliance with the backing of 2 faction leaders, Azazel and my little red fox. Kuroka, yes, indeed. When we presented our plan to him, he was fully supportive and agreed to assist us if we help gather information about the activities of the Cows Brigade, particularly the group within it that seems to be pulling the strings. He assured us that he would provide amnesty and protection in exchange for our help. Yasaka, I understand. If my future husband has decided to help you, and as long as you do not have any ulterior motives towards me or my loved ones, I have no objections. However, Kurara, I apologize for not being able to do more during the tragedy that befell the Yokai Nekomata and Nekishu. If we had been stronger at that time, we might have been able to retaliate or, at the very least, protect our people. Karara, please understand the predicament we were in at the time. Yasaka, it was not your fault, nor was there anything you could do to change what happened. We could not take action without proper reason or justification. Lady Amaterasu was equally devastated by the events. However, without concrete evidence aside from alleged devil attacks on the Yokai faction, we were unable to confront the Devil Council or Devil Kings. Thankfully, Kuroka provided the Red Dragon Emperor with valuable information that shed light on the true motivations of the Chaos Brigade. Kuroka, absolutely. Karara, I still remember when I killed my former master, Lord Nibirius. He had a secret laboratory where he conducted experiments on me and other captured Yokai, as per the Council's orders. He even attempted to take my sister for his vile experiments before I killed him, before he could do anything to her. The laboratory held the crucial information we needed, and I let Issei there to uncover not only the Chaos Brigade's interests, but also the Council's involvement. Their attempts to create artificial super devils and extract the powers of Nekomata and Nekashu were shocking revelations. All the evidence we found exposed their nefarious dealings and plans. Ingvold was enraged upon hearing the actions of the Council, and she spoke in anger. Ingvold, it seems that those despicable council members are solely interested in their own welfare and the preservation of outdated traditions. Most of them, if not all, still yearn to be connected and collaborate with the old Satan faction, regardless of the harm they've caused to the underworld and its inhabitants. I can't wait for their crimes to be exposed for all to see, especially with the hero of the underworld standing against them, and irrefutable evidence to showcase their mistreatment of non-pure-blooded devils and the reincarnated devils, as well as anyone who falls below the high-class status. I eagerly await the consequences they will face and the people turning against them. It's disheartening to know that the Devil Kings have done nothing about this. Kuroka, before you lay blame on them, although I'm not the biggest supporter of the Devil Kings, and I'm not trying to defend them blindly, it seems that the Council's actions were done without their knowledge. Even if we were to inform them, they wouldn't believe us without concrete proof. However, now that we do have evidence, we can demonstrate what they did wrong, and how they surreptitiously sought the support of the same group that has been causing trouble for the Devils and the Alliance as a whole. Ingvold, I see. It's justice being served and the old devils facing the consequences of their actions. That's all that matters to me. Yasaka, you too need not worry. Oh, my little red fox has been fervently worked up over this, and has been eager to handle them. I can assure you that there is no way they will escape unscathed, especially now that solid proof demonstrates their plotting against the Devil Kings, and the hero turning against them. They will find it difficult to maintain the people's support once it's known many of the Council are working and helping the Chaos Brigade and the old Satan faction. Justice will be served. Karara, speaking of which, where is your husband or soon-to-be husband? Yasaka, oh yes, he is currently in the underworld with Ravel, discussing his plans to marry her with her family. Additionally, he is scheduled to meet with the Devil King to inform him of his intentions and prepare for the broadcast in order to address the public about the Council's misdeeds. During this broadcast, he will share information about Ingvold Leviathan, who is the last descendant of the Leviathan clan and a hybrid of a devil and a human. He will also demand the return of all the Nekomata and Nekashu that are currently in devil peerages. Kuroka, that seems like a challenging task. How does he plan to remove them from the devil peerages? How does he intend to remove the evil pieces inside them without killing them? We witnessed the consequences when Issei forcefully removed them before. How does he plan on ensuring their return as Yokai? Yasaka, he approached Ajuka with a request to develop a safe method for removing the evil pieces without harming the souls associated with them. The goal is to provide a means for individuals who were reincarnated in improper ways to leave without being condemned due to the manipulative actions of other high-class devils. So Ajuka is actively working on finding a solution to prevent the abuse of forcefully or deceptively reincarnating members by high-ranking devils. This solution also applies to your pieces, Kuroka. Karara, so through this process, we will be able to rescue the Yokai from the clutches of the devils and work towards rebuilding our species. Your mate is truly remarkable. However, Yasaka, we need to address something important: the baby you're carrying right now. 1. Kuroka, what, you're pregnant? Ingvold, how long have you been pregnant, and why didn't you inform us sooner? Karara, let's all remain calm and allow Yasaka to share the details. I'm sure she will spare no spicy details. Isn't that right? Yasaka, Karara said with a sinister smile. Yasaka felt a slight pang of anxiety, realizing she had no choice but to open up about her situation. She wished her mate was present to support her, but for now, she took a deep breath and began explaining everything that had transpired between her and her mate, sharing all the details the girls were eager to know. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment below your favorite part. Don't forget to support author and his story, link in the description.